G'day, Steel Nation. How you going? It's Mark here, Mark Davidson from Steel Nation Australia.
What's going on, West Country? What's that? Let's go! Baby! Yes! Yes! Let's go!
What's the deal with the schedule?
So I think the stereotype that we drink Fosters, and the first Foster I saw was in Pittsburgh. It's a true story.
Yeah,
The
I've
first
only
ever
seen-
Foster I saw was in America. I've never
Well, I
seen one
thought that
here.
was like Australia for biz.
For what?
Well, Steelers Nation, welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia. We are getting Yuly in here shortly. He's going to come into the show, have his perspective on a lot of things, so I'm pretty keen for that. But just for me, guys, it's a nice sunny day here in Australia. It's like 75, 80 degrees, good weather. The Pittsburgh Steelers are losing very badly. So, yeah, I can see people's frustrations. We're going to talk about that. Talk about the Mike Tomlin thing. Talk about I made a video today about the Renegade stuff. And just overall the bigger picture, like what we think. Like, it's funny this season, the Steelers still have a chance. Even though they're not playing well enough, they're still 6-6. And if they go and beat Baltimore, then they can turn the season around and go and win these 5 games, 4 out of 5 games. So it's interesting, that's for sure. We've been here before in these kind of seasons where the collapse happens on a 5-game skid. We've seen it before where the Steelers get to the playoffs and they lose the first week. It's nothing new. I think we do sometimes overhype our team because we fucking love our team. I've been there 4 times. Love the city. Love this when the Steelers are doing well. Love the fact that, like, you know, I've seen 40 and 43, and I've been a part of those in my lifetime. You know, it's good. It's good to bleed black and gold. It's good fun. I love the fact that I have this channel. I can come on and talk football, and figure out what happened yesterday or what's going to happen, what's going to go forward. But yeah, the bigger picture stuff is right now the crowd and fan base collectively, I reckon like 70, maybe 80%, maybe near 95% of fans are fed up, very fed up with Coach Tomlin. But I've got a little bit of an interesting point as well. And I've said this before, mate, what if Coach Tomlin's fed up with this? Maybe his players aren't running his playing well enough. They always seem to bark at the coach because he's the head coach, and maybe he's fed up with the execution of plays or like the offense. You know, I understand that Rodgers is older, and he wanted him here, but it's not always one person. It's not always one person or one coach. Yeah, 100%. So yeah, this is I was saying, like, this is football, how it plays out. Jetta was right. Shit happens on the next week. That's the way I feel. I feel pretty much like that. I'm not gonna go. A lot of these channels out there, and they can do whatever. You can do whatever the fuck you want. You can do whatever you want, man. I don't care. These channels will sit there in negativity for days and days and weeks and weeks, and have, you know, little signs on their stuff and like fire Tom on that kind of stuff. I don't understand that. I'm not going down that route. Steve says here, what up, Steve? It's frustrating for sure, but 3 division games left. Who cares about yesterday? Fuck it. It's over, onto the shitbirds. That's right. We need to get moved forward. And you know what? One big shout out to the Buffalo Bills, man. They controlled the game with over 41 minutes. 41 minutes Oh, that's good. Sorry. Yuly's coming in very soon. He's a little bit busy. Yuly's coming in very soon. Yeah, 100% right to the end. This is what I don't get. Some of you guys need to come to Australia and just chill out. Yesterday, the minute we lost and we got beat down 26-3, I caught up with a good mate of mine, my friend Blake, and we just started talking life and stuff like that. And you move on. But I understand we're a football channel, so I will talk football. But the Buffalo Bills ran over us. They fucking fucked us up. Like, shout out to them. James Cook got many yards. He's almost got 1,000 a season. Josh Allen played one of his best games. Their defense took care of business, and they were not allowing our receivers to get open. Aaron Rodgers talked about their receivers getting open, and there's no, like, sometimes you can't even execute plays because the guys aren't wide open to throw the ball. Aaron Rodgers had the passing was off, but the Bills overall, man, just came into our house, second half adjustments, and ran the rock. They ran for 249 yards against a Steelers team that should be the historic defense or highest paid defense, and they can't stop a nosebleed. And when they haven't got Derek Harmon there, it all falls to shit. D-line, the middle linebackers aren't coming up and plugging the holes. The safeties aren't coming up. We definitely miss Elliott. Elliott's out for the season. We miss him. But there are so many things that the Steelers need to do better at, and we know that, right? But there's also some good things where you see good plays from Eccles in the first half. Our defense was keeping us in it. Defense was keeping us in it, and our offense couldn't move anywhere. We all know this. We all saw the game. But yeah, this is trying to figure out when Yuly comes on, we're going to figure out the bigger picture and what's going to happen with Coach Tomlin next year and year after. Because they've got the Pittsburgh Steelers draft coming up, and I don't know if they'd fire him or ask him to leave next year, going into a transitional period of like the draft and all that, it's going to be a crazy time to host the draft. Do you want to host the draft and have a new coach? I don't know if they do that. But Buffalo tore us apart, and we've seen this consistently with big games like this where the Packers or Seahawks and these teams, it looks like the Steelers don't maybe not want to be there, but they're not fully 100% ready to go. In other games where they had a shout out to the 40th anniversary versus the Colts, they fucking showed up and they played good football. So this is the point where I think you have to recognize a loss. I don't think the season's over. I think we have 5 games to go where they can play better football and turn it around. I do think that Aaron Rodgers is limited, and I do question the fact that they're putting out a 75% quarterback who cannot move, he's not mobile, to play football on this team, and he gets smashed, and that's why he had the big cut on his nose as well. But anyways, we'll get into it. Let's see who else in the house. Excuse me, we got Gino, Josh in the house. We got Jerry, J-Devil's in the house, Dante. What's going on? I try, man. I'm trying. Like, I've been doing this thing a long time now on YouTube. I love talking the team, love talking football, love talking just everything Steelers. As you know, I've been over to Europe recently, been to Pittsburgh 4 times. Just love it, man. I love this stuff. So I love doing. And when Yuly comes on, you guys know him. He's part of the chat. So, and some of you guys have been on in my draft party. Some of you guys I've been to games with Gino. So this thing is forever growing, man. And we're just in one of those times when I think the fan base and the organization does feel very stale. It feels very stale. The fact they can't move the fucking ball and they're getting like 120 yards offense. And the Bills game, they, I think, held the ball for 19 minutes. You're going to lose games every single time. It's 2027. Season was over before it started. Yeah. It's time for the NRL. Look, I know I'm laughing, but some of this stuff, honest to goodness, man, you just got to take with a grain of salt, haven't you? Like, it just, I don't know. Love this team. We played bad. See what happens next week versus the Ravens. Can they capitalize, and can they put pressure on Lamar Jackson? Can they stop the run? Can they stop that option pass? Can they stop Derrick Henry? Can you have guys like in the middle linebackers stepping up? I want to see more of Cole Holcomb play. I think he runs to the line and hits him hard. Queen got injured, so we don't know what his availability is. But sometimes you just have to laugh. But yeah, answer your question, Tomlin's contract is through in 2027. So this year, next year, and he plays 2027, and that's his last contract. And at this time, I don't think the Steelers would what's the word? Extend his contract. I don't think so. So we've got Yuly in the house now too. I want to get his perspective on his Pittsburgh Steelers. He's been a busy man. So let's get my headphones on. And then let's have a good conversation with Yuly about the Steelers, a bit of fun. See how we go. See if we're going to jump off a ledge or not, and see what happens. So let's bring in Yuly. Let's go, mate. How are you?
Oh, no, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can't hear you. Hold on.
That's a good stuff.
Is this weird?
I think, okay, Yuly's going to figure this out.
Let me make sure it's not my headset. I'm going to try playing YouTube video real quick.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Okay, I can hear you on YouTube, so it's something with whatever it's playing through audio live here. Oh, yeah, it's trying to play through my monitor, which has no speaker. I don't know why I defaulted to that.
Technology, Yuly.
Okay, I can hear you now.
All right. What's going on, Yuly? How are you, mate?
Nothing much. While I was taking a crap, I was trying to read the directions for the new prescription I got, and that's why it was taking me a while. It's freaking a fucking book.
What's that for? Is that the Steelers playbook?
Yeah, they gave me a inhaler, and that was the direction I was trying to figure out how to take it.
So if you don't know, as Yuly sent me a Discord, and I quote, I said, I'll start, mate. See you when you drop in. Yuly says, cool, I'm taking a crap, then I'll be on.
Yep.
And that's where we are. So, Yuly, did you see the game yesterday?
I missed like most of it because I was working and I was running late, and I joined in towards the end of the second half. We start to win. I'm like, cool, and then we go into halftime, and then after that, literally, I see the ball thrown into after Mason throws the ball into the guy's hands. I immediately just clicked off the Pirate stream and was like, I'm done. I joined the chat, and that's why I was just chatting with you. So I kind of got to hear you commentate about how terrible the game was while I just chilled.
There was sometimes that, honest to goodness, like I try and do my best, but when we lose like that, I sometimes don't say anything. Because I'm the fan watching too. I can't comment. I sometimes can't do the play-by-play if we're down by 23 to 7 and we're playing shithouse, because you just like, there's no point. Like there's a certain time when they weren't going to score points. One of the most frustrating parts for me was they went down the field with 4th and 2, 10 minutes to go. They don't get the 4th and 2. They run the rock, and it was a really bad play call and execution. All of it was bad. And then they play Renegade after, right?
Yeah, I heard. I saw Mark Caboli tweet that he'd never heard Renegade booed before at Heinz Field.
But it was a wrong. Why would they play Renegade? And I think it was dumb. Play Renegade after a 4th and 2 non-conversion, and then they're still down by 16 points with 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, I think they play it no matter what once in a game if we're losing. So I guess they were just like. I mean, they should have just played it in the third quarter when everything started going to hell, though. Correct.
Yeah. Do you reckon Renegade they have to play it for the, like, imagine you're a Steelers fan, right? And you go to experience
the game. You have to play it once a game because you need to have it happen for each fan that's their first game.
Yeah.
They do that.
You reckon that's the thing? I reckon it's for the fan, but because there's fans that go there for their first game ever, right? Win or lose. And I feel like they're pushing it on. If they are losing by that much, they feel like they have to, because say there's 20% of fans have seen the very first game. If they don't experience it, they kind of miss out. You know, it's not directed by.
Have a chance.
Yes.
I mean, I've only been to one game, so I've only heard it once.
# cancel Renegade. But yeah, so hey.
My first and only game I've ever been to at Heinz was the home opener for Ben's last year, because we figured Ben was going to be retiring, so wanted to see before he retired.
Who did we verse?
We played the Raiders and we lost.
Oh, we versed the Raiders and lost?
Yeah, but at least the good thing was that the Steelers touchdowns that we got were like on my side of the field, so I got to see it like really close.
Yeah, right. Well, even Big Ben near the end of his career was a bit slow, and I think that's what fans are frustrated about now too. Is we just have these stopgap quarterbacks with Rodgers, and now he's playing bad with his wrist. Dante says Renegade shouldn't be played for. I agree. Only play for close games that are meaningful. That's where it all went bad, and the fans booed Renegade maybe for the first time in history. The fans also have now been very vocal in asking to fire Tomlin, probably the first time in history as well. Do you see this stuff getting out of hand where the Roonies will make a snap decision and fire him next year?
I don't think they'll do it before his contract's over, probably. I think they'll let him run his contract out at least. Because doesn't he have like 2 years left on it?
Yeah, 2027 is his last year.
Okay, yeah, I think they'd let him run that then because you want to see him with one more. Basically, what that would do is he would have a chance at drafting a QB and running it back with the QB before you get rid of him.
I was going to say too, if they were, say they moved on, not five, maybe they moved on, mutual agreement, right?
Mm-hmm.
2026 with the draft going to Pittsburgh, would that not be the worst time to get a new head coach in as well?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to change up the coach and the quarterback at the same time if possible because you want to keep it consistent. Like a big thing with like developing military tech is you don't want to put too much new state-of-the-art tech all on the same platform because then nothing works ever and you can't figure out which thing is actually reliable and that you want to keep and which thing is busted and you want to move on from. It's kind of like with like our O-line was trash. Kevin Dotson left. It turns out he wasn't part of the O-line that was trash. It was just the overall most of the O-line was trash back then. We need to replace a lot of it. And
your camera goes out, and I just read your.
Yeah, I don't know why
read your. I just read your under your thing, Slayer of Poon.
Love that. How it is.
That took me 5 minutes to read that.
I don't know what happened with the headset, but okay.
Why'd your camera go out?
It just said it lost connection. I'm trying again now. Yeah, I know. It just says it lost connection to the browser.
Oh my goodness!
Now it's just black.
I see. Are you playing Renegade?
Apparently.
Oh my! Hey, I see what you're saying. So you want to have consistency where it's like head coach and QB are together, but if you have, if you have them at different times, you don't know what they want, right? You could have a quarterback that might not like the head coach and vice versa, right? So, yeah, definitely. Donnie says those truths, what Yuly's saying. Problems I don't know if Tom will find the QB to take place.
What I would like is if we could get Mike McDaniel from the Dolphins as our offensive coordinator more than anything.
Is he the one with the glasses, that coach?
Yeah, because he's really good at the offense. I mean, the Dolphins are putting up like 40 points every game for a while. They just can't play in the cold. Yeah,
right. Dante says your camera is shorting because you have Militech in your room.
I mean, does ammunition count as military technology? I think so.
But yeah, I hear what you're saying. Like it's yeah. Well, I don't think they're gonna get rid of him like in the bigger picture kind of style. Get rid of him next year. They'll probably play the contract out. Also, Arthur Smith, and you know how the Roonies work. He's now there to 2027, right? So maybe they might move on from head coach and offensive coordinator at the same time. But do you think that they would right now, would the Roonies extend Mike Tomlin in 2027?
I think it's 50-50 right now. I still don't think I think there was a decent chance they still would actually.
So, I mean, if we lose all our games, if we lose the next games and it's the same rinse and repeat kind of thing?
I think, I mean, if we don't get a playoff win by 2027, that might be tough. Because at that point, that would have been, 11 years? Because wasn't our last playoff win 2016?
2016, yeah. That's when I was in Canada.
Yeah, if Trump's leaving the office for the second term, that was interrupted by a term of Biden in between. We still haven't won a playoff game. That's pretty bad. So that's three inaugurations.
So by that time, you're like a new president or something. I don't know.
Had some new one.
This is the thing. Like the fan base, as you know, and you're in Philadelphia / like Pittsburgh and all over the shop. Like
I was back and forth, Pittsburgh right? Thursday. I'm in Philadelphia now.
Yeah, right. So do you sense like the frustration of the fan base online and?
Oh yeah, I mean everyone else is so much more frustrated probably than I am. I'm just kind of like I mean, every NFL season you have a very low chance of winning everything. So I have Okay, I locked my bathroom apparently. I was trying to get the prescriptions from there.
Are you walking around now? I don't know where
Well,
you are now.
since the camera's gone, I was like, I might as well.
What are you doing? Are you walking around the house doing chores?
I apparently locked the bathroom from the outside, and so we're gonna have to figure that out later. But uh, what's it called? Yeah, might as well do something. I mean, hold on. I can try and I'll have to leave the studio and then join back in. I think to maybe reset the
How
camera.
did you lock the bathroom from the outside?
It's a pretty shitty bathroom, so stuff like that can happen.
Okay. Is there anything important? Oh, okay. Love it. He very well could be. He'll come back in a minute. But yeah, so the thing is, oh, here he is now. Hang on. Easy.
I
All right, you're back.
don't have picture.
That's all right.
Yeah. But
At least we still know you're the Slayer of Poon.
yep. Yeah,
At least we know that.
I'll just have to express my thoughts through my
What
title.
what was your okay? I don't know if I spoke to you at the start of the season. What was your expectation though for this season though? Did you think we're going to win it all, or what was your?
I mean, I never
like-
think we're gonna win it all. I always will either think that we have a good chance, maybe a chance, or not a lot of a chance. But I never think that we're gonna win it all or for sure gonna lose it all.
So what about this season with Rogers coming in, and what was the expectation?
My expectation was 10-7, maybe a playoff win with a chance to go on a run if we get lucky, and a chance to miss the playoffs if we get unlucky.
So pretty much where we are now, 6-6, and if they go on a run.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in that sense, being a Steelers fan, are you not as frustrated as people online putting up fire Tomlin signs and putting chanting in the stands, or you just keep going week by week?
No, I also don't really care too much about a coach's performance if they don't have an elite quarterback. I more so care about a coach when they're being asked when they should be winning Super Bowls. But if you don't have an elite quarterback, I don't really put it on the coach to be winning Super Bowls all the time, or even like winning playoff games that much.
That's a good perspective.
Like
so
Andy Reid never won a Super Bowl with the Eagles, but he was quite good. And now that he has his quarterback in Patrick Mahomes, he made a dynasty. Belichick, I mean, he was never very good until he had Tom Brady, and he was bad after he lost Tom Brady.
So does that mean, I guess, this word of the crash out, it shouldn't be as hard and crazy as Steelers fans want it to be? Whereas
yeah, I mean, well, I think people are just impatient. It's like, well, we're going into the season with Aaron Rodgers. He shouldn't be expecting us to be insanely good. Like we should be as good as Rodgers allows us, and you should so your expectations should be. There's a decent chance that we end up where we're at right now because he's a 41-year-old quarterback who's slowly injured.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Because you said that as what's the name of this? I don't know where you said it. You talked about his hand though. Was it the other day in the chat or something? You talked about that.
He there was before he left that, was it the Bengals game where he got injured? Yeah, before he left the Bengals game, there was multiple reports throughout the previous week or two of showing him getting his hand inspected before the game and showing there was irritation there and whatnot. So that's also when his stats and performance started to drop off, and we started to not feel like he has after the Bengals game, we were like, man, Rodgers hasn't been very good for a few weeks, and then that carried into this game. And so, I mean, my personal opinion was the second he got injured in that Bengals game, I didn't really want him back till it was fully healed, basically, or as healed as soon as possible, whether that was even all the way till playoffs. Because I feel like he's pretty good when he's fully healthy, and we shouldn't be risking a 41-year-old quarterback.
Like yesterday when he got hit, right, and he takes too long. I agree with that too, because I think the first few weeks Rodgers was on fire, doing some good things, passes,
As it gets colder, other quarterbacks' mobility will go down as well, so that at least will help neutralize the other quarterback, those super mobile quarterbacks. Because whenever you're colder, you move slower, you get hit, it hurts more, so you don't run as much, and when you do run, you run a little bit slower. So that would help.
As we saw with the Miami Dolphins and Tua when they went to play the playoffs a few years ago. I don't know who they played, but they got smashed when they played.
Yeah, so that helps a lot when you're going up against those super mobile quarterbacks as a defense.
So okay, this is the point now where Roger was doing pretty good, and we all kind of liked him. He's been struggling the last 4 weeks, but it's probably got something to do with the injury, right? The wrist and stuff like that. Obviously, that's going to hurt you and be slow and mobile. Do you think the Steelers should play or why are the Steelers playing a 75% Rodgers over 100% Rudolph?
Well, for one, the player's going to always want to play. Like Rogers also probably doesn't like Rogers' job isn't the most secure. Where there is a chance if Rudolph could have done like amazing for 4 games straight. There's a chance we're just not looking back. And then that's how Ben got his start. Was Maddox got hurt for 4 games. Next thing you know, Maddox isn't a Steeler. But what's it called? So it's that, and then also players just always want to play. Like Ryan Clark, remember he was trying to play in Denver when he had like a condition that could kill him, and Mike Tomlin had to be the one to take him down. So that's all. But also that's the thing. When it comes to a person like Rodgers, like a super legendary quarterback, you also as a coach don't really stand in their way too much. You kind of let them do their thing. So
they kind of have to, right? Because if they were to bench him for Rudolph, then there's going to be a big media thing about Rodgers' season's done, career's done, all this kind of stuff, the drama around it, right? So why are you just betting off just trying to play? Maybe he's a better quarterback, and he played worse yesterday. The win was getting in. He was being accountable, but it's not an easy switch, is it? It's not an easy switch to go from your 75% quarterback with a injured hand then to Rudolph, is it? It can't be.
Yeah. And then what was I going to say? Wow. Fuck. My chest hurts really bad when I cough.
You're still sick, aren't you? You stuck in the bathroom again?
Yeah, I just have the chest pain now.
Okay.
And a cough. So this time since the steroids didn't work, they just gave me a bunch of antibiotics to heal. I have like a bag of prescriptions. I need to take like 20 pills a day, and they're hoping that will get rid of it. Otherwise, they're like, you may just have to go to the ER.
Yeah, right. Hopefully you're getting better over time. But yeah, look, it's not easy. It's easy for a fan base to say, like start Rudolph or start Will Howard, because the Will Howard conversation will come up now. But I guess they're stuck with Rodgers was there, unless he can't walk, he's not able to play like that. He's going to play, right? And then he needs to play better. But what you're saying is his wrist injury has, I guess, evidence from he was playing better before that. Then after that, there's been some bad throws and some, the offense has been out.
I think with him getting injured again, though, that gives the coach now the ability to keep him sat, even if he thinks he's okay for a little bit, and he can do that, and that's not going to come off now as like a disrespectful thing.
You mean that like he's got a sore wrist now, he's limited, and Rudolph plays or something like that, right?
Yeah. So now I don't think there's going to be a media controversy if he has to sit a little bit longer now, because it's happened multiple times now. And he was like bleeding and all that, so it's also more visual.
He got hit hard. He got hit very hard. Yeah. I got a question here from Dante as well. He's talking about I will say the Killer Bee. Yuly can't deny there were more wasted opportunities in the Tomlin era during the Killer Bee era. What do you think about that? With Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown and Big Ben.
Wait, let me scroll back up. I didn't see that.
So I guess in the 2016 era, for them to win championships? I guess.
Oh yeah, there was lots of opportunity during the Killer Bee era to win championships. That more so was just bad luck. Again, that's all with the winning percentages. Like, we were never guaranteed to win a Super Bowl during that time, but we had a high likelihood of winning 1 or 2 during that time. But what happened was every single playoff run, did we ever have all 3 of them healthy?
I don't know. There was the game
years where Bengals were taking out all 3 of them. There was the year that Antonio Brown got hit by Vontaze Burfict in the head was also the year that Le'Veon Bell got hurt in a Bengals game.
That was the leg. Vontaze Burfict went for his legs.
Yeah, and then also that same game where Antonio Brown got hit. This one isn't as well known, but there's a time where Burfict hits Ben, and after he sacks him, he takes his leg back and rams it into his shoulder, and Ben had a shoulder injury that he left, I think, for a few plays and then came back out with. So that one's not well as known, but goddamn, the guy took out all 3 of our players.
He's a lovely player, isn't he, Vontaze Burfict? great player. Yeah, that's interesting too, because I remember that was also the last real chance we had was Steelers versus
Patriots. Oh, sorry. I can't see Dante's newest chat because I haven't activated Windows, and that covers up the there's a box that says activate Windows, and that covers up the most recent chat. Okay, but what was the main cause of the problems? Oh, the defense was awful. That's what happens when you invest all of your money into offense, just like that's what happens right now when we invest all of our money into defense. So it's more so like we weren't expected to have a good defense whenever we had we aren't having Ben, Brown, and Belly and a good defense. I don't think. I think that was more so.
Did we have bad secondary back in those times in those playoffs?
Oh yeah, no, it was one of the worst secondaries. Artie Burns was awful,
and there was like
we had like just the worst names out there.
There was also the other dude. I can't remember the guy's
Argument.
name, but there was the other safety that was like hard hitting, but he was really bad.
Oh, Mike Mitchell, was that it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he fucked up Ryan Tannehill, right?
He
Was it Ryan
was.
Tannehill on the
No, that
Dolphins?
was no. Bud Dupree hit one of the Miami Dolphins. That was
Oh
like I
yeah,
thought
yeah, it was Bud Dupree.
yeah, Cockrell, Sensabaugh, and Blake. Like they were like the real bad secondary, you know.
yeah, that
Um, But that was a fun run for the playoffs in that last run. But the Steelers had a chance to beat the Patriots, and then we come up short, right? And maybe they had a chance to win a Super Bowl there. But yeah, it's like I said, it's not easy to win these ones. But right now, the Steelers don't have any
I think
lick of a
like
chance.
when we had Ben Brown and Bell going into the playoffs with them all healthy, any given year we probably still only had like a 30 to 40% chance to win the Super Bowl. Because I mean, there's always one, two other good teams that you each have like a coin flip to win against. You have to win both. Like you usually have to beat like a really good conference team that would have been like the Patriots, and then you would have had to beat like the best NFC team. So this would have been like two coin flips of like super good teams on par. So you would have had, I guess, like a 25% chance to win two coin flips back to back on any given year, which we should have done somewhat. But also, most of those years we were missing people and we were never at full strength, so which lowers our probability to win. Overall, I'd say we still should have won a Super Bowl then, but we just had terrible luck. I mean, if we played, I always said if we played anywhere but the AFC North, we would have won the Super Bowl.
And also that last year when that game versus the Patriots, I was in Canada at the time, and I was so pissed off we lost that game. But they tore us apart with Edelman and the other receiver who was like getting 100 yards, and we just couldn't stop them. And they had a better game plan.
One problem we've had for fucking ever is we cannot guard a tight end for the life of us. Gronkowski, Kelsey constantly destroy us.
Random tight ends too from other
yeah.
games.
Hunter Henry was like destroying us that one game. That might have been the Jesse James catch game where he was like going off on us. Then there wasn't there some tight end that was destroying us earlier this year. I mean, we were getting destroyed by some tight end earlier this year too.
Here's something I don't know going back a bit far, but maybe it is all towards the big picture. Jed, was a lot of variables going to Worlds retiring, to it not coming back was a crazy situation. Then
that was
injury.
Yeah, Shazier's injury was a huge one because
he would have been a chance for us to win 2 bowls then for sure. The way he played, he was fast.
I do. I think we would have had like a average to like subpar defense with Shazier instead of just hot dog water with. But
he seemed like when he played, and you go back and watch the highlights and tape, that he does jobs of 2 players like middle linebackers. The way he swims around and gets to the outside and plays contain or hits him hard and through the middle of the right. Like he was playing on fire the way he moves around. He was fucking on fire. Shazier.
What I've like dreamed about every once in a while, like I'll just be like, man, I wish this would have happened, was a team where you have Troy Polamalu, Ryan Shazier, and Peyton Wilson all on the same defense. That would have been one athletic, crazy defense. Like Shazier and Peyton Wilson with their speed that they each have, and then Polamalu that can rush up in there. That would have been great.
Yeah, but definitely Shazier's injury kind of like might have set them back a bit. Definitely,
it definitely took us back a lot because what happened was we immediately panicked, traded up for the first time since Troy Polamalu and drafted Devin Bush.
Devin Bush, you're right. So
imagine if we don't have to spend the first round pick plus even more draft capital to trade up on 4 different players for the defense, and we have Shazier still.
So there was
a good cornerback possibly with another role of a first round, and now we have one good cornerback, Shazier, and the killer bees. Now we can really win a Super Bowl.
And also, they like going down the line too. They kind of did the same thing with Kenny Pickett when Big Ben retired. They went and got a quarterback in the first round. Fucking didn't work, did it? Yep. So there might have been some negatives there, but yeah, Shazier when he got injured, it kind of the flow and effect.
Jared, are you referencing Shazier got exposed whenever he was cheating about reading books about sex?
No, I think he cheated on his wife.
Yeah, but I think his wife posted like books, like sexy books he was reading or buying or something. So it was, I forget.
Something happened real fast where everyone loved Shazier. They found out the story.
Yeah, and then it was like, oh dang! It was like,
yeah, but then how do you hate the guy? He came back from his injury and started walking again from a really bad
legendary player. Not didn't have the best moment off the field. But...
This is like a 50-50 one, right? It's like, oh, he cheats on his wife.
Hey, he didn't beat his wife. We'll take that. We take that.
That's
a lot
true.
Of NFL players beat their wives, so
just cheated. Only cheated. But at the same time, the guy, his moment of not walking, he fucked his spine up.
Yeah,
and
he
then he
came
starts
back
walking
to me. It was
again.
like,
Yeah.
right here. It was like, oh, come
But
on.
then-
That's what you do with your legs after you get them back.
What, cheat on your wife? Oh, okay. Alrighty, Dante's got another thing here. Super chat says, Mikey D plus Yuly plus Will Howard equal 2026 QB room. Yuly, what is
I
going
would
to
be
happen
all
in
for it. They need to give me a tryout. Someone get my tape to him.
what is going to happen in 2026? Mason Rudolph is
I'm gonna
QB
be the
number
starting
2.
quarterback.
You're going to be starting quarterback.
Yep.
But what do they do? Do they
I'm
go
gonna
and
have to
draft
bulk up
someone
a
or
bit
what?
though. I'm 144 right now. I can maybe get to 180.
Well, right now they're not throwing the ball anyway. He's going to hand the ball off in his sleep.
But I think we're going to draft someone no matter what, whether we
First
keep Rodgers
round?
or not. I do not know if we will draft someone in the first round. I'm pretty happy if like we wait till like the 3rd or 4th round and grab Drew Aller from Penn State because he has the type of like stuff you want in a QB, but he hasn't proven it. And then he got injured for the rest of the season this year, so his draft stock fell a ton because he still had stuff to prove. So I'm happy. I'd be happy if we could take a low end shot on a QB, have someone that has high upside potential, that has a potential to be a first round talent, get them late.
Would he
like
start
what we
then?
did with Peyton was.
Would they start him or would they do? Will Howard
Well, the
first?
Steelers would never start a rookie QB, so that's not happening no matter what. We'd probably have Mason still. I think we'd have Mason, and then he'd be the starter, and then we would draft someone. There is a chance they do draft someone in the first round. I would just prefer if we fixed other holes and then still take a chance on a person who has high upside, but people aren't as happy with because they just haven't seen as much.
But do the Steelers play this game again? Where if Mason Rudolph hasn't proved this year to be a QB1, he did okay in one game, bad in this game. Would they go into the season with him being QB1 and then the rookie behind him, or do they go to the free agent market again next year in 2026?
I mean, if they go to the market, who would really be there?
I don't know.
Like Kyler Murray, I don't want that.
Is he
That's
like?
expensive. You don't draft someone then. You have him as your quarterback. So we aren't getting. I don't want Kyler. Hopefully we don't go that route.
Yeah. So this is one thing where the Steelers just can't figure out this quarterback position since Big Ben left. That's one been really, really tough.
I mean, it's not really that much of a shocker though. There's only a few elite quarterbacks. They play for 20 years, and there's 32 teams. You know, that's kind of like that's why this is what I expected once Ben retired, because it's like you don't just get another Ben. Also, I think I predicted when Ben retired how the fan base is going to be very pissy and upset for a long time because of they're going to probably expect to get another QB right away, and instead we're going to be searching for a while.
So they've got Danny Jones, there's Mariota, there's Tyrod Taylor, there's
Daniel Jones will probably re-sign with the Colts, I think. So I don't think he's gonna.
There's Trubisky, there's Jimmy Garoppolo. There's no real names here.
I'm picking Mason over all of those easily. Daniel Jones is the only name, and he's going to cost like $35 million a year or more, and he's probably going to get to the Colts anyways. And I don't want to take a risk on us trying to use Daniel Jones. He played for 6 years with the Giants, and he was asked.
There's Zach Wilson. Would Zach Hajimon Wilson? Would he be someone with him and Mike Tomlin? Have they ever had a connection?
I think if you sign Zach Wilson, you maybe cut Will Howard and you keep Mason still. I don't think you just keep Zach Wilson and don't keep Mason, because I feel like Mason is much more proven.
You reckon Rodgers will come back next year in 2026?
It depends. If we win a playoff game, maybe. If we don't make the playoffs, I don't think so.
Yeah, right.
At least he wouldn't be coming back with us. If we don't make the playoffs, they're not going to re-sign him.
Jetta says whatever it takes to not be like the Browns. What are your thoughts on the Browns this season? They did you see their game last week, Yuly? They muffed a punt. They dropped a fumble. They were winning on defense. Like they were trying their best to win the game. They fucked it up.
Yeah, they're just a sad franchise. Like I never really have a problem with them because I just don't see them as rivals really, because it's just like they're just the Browns. They do their thing.
They seem to lose games in unique ways.
They freaking had a quarterback and they got rid of him.
Yeah, it's true. They got rid of
for a guy who they're currently paying $50 million a year to sit on the bench.
Is he still involved? Is Deshaun Watson still involved? Is he on the team still?
He's on the non-practicing injury, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they'll just phase him out, and next minute he'll be a free agent.
They're not taking him off that list. He's staying there, and then they're going to pay him all this money, and then he's going to quietly leave the organization to never.
Does he? Would he go? You reckon he goes to games? Does he go to games and sit there and watch?
I don't think so. I don't think they want him there.
What a crazy! Yeah, the Browns are wild, right? They had Baker Mayfield, and he's probably their guy for the Buccaneers now. But the Steelers, in the same sense, like in 2026, and I know we've got a lot of games to go, but if Rodgers isn't there, Rudolph steps up. Does Will Howard become number 2, and do they draft a quarterback in round 1 or round 2? You know.
Oh, sorry, what you say? I was zoning out reading chat.
Well, how do they get if the quarterback gonna the next quarterback they draft is that they're gonna be their franchise guy?
Well, they're gonna try. I'm no oracle to predict it from the beginning. But,
you don't know
the hit rate with the first round.
That's who you are.
The first the first round hit rate on a QB is like 30%. So we have like a 1 in 3. We took Kenny. That's 1 of 3. So hopefully we have a 50-50 shot next time. That's not how procedures work, but
so yeah, it's not always guaranteed when you get a first round quarterback that's going to be success, right? As we've seen.
I mean, it's almost always not going to be a success. It's very rare for it to work out.
Yeah, true.
And that's why I don't put having bad quarterbacks really on coaches or them not doing as well without a quarterback, because it's hard to find one and no one really knows how to find one. If they did, they'd be getting paid $100 million a year. And then you also can't really win without one. So that's kind of how I don't really use
Joe Burrow example. Like you can't, they're not winning. So they have Joe Burrow, right?
Yeah.
And when he's out, they lose. Well, then
they need to fire Zach Taylor. I mean, he's not a good coach.
But they seemingly won't though. I think Joe Burrow is saving his job.
They won't fire Zach Taylor because they're chief. I think they've realized that they want to fire him now, but they still have him on contract, and they're not. The Bengals, like the Steelers, aren't going to fire their coach before he's off contract. Though they do that not out of him being still like a coach with high pedigree. It's more so that they refuse to spend any money on anything. They're like it's constantly that they constantly have.
What about the other coach with the Browns? Like, is he not the same? They're all losing games, and are they yelling fire him?
I've not been the biggest fan of Kevin Stefanski. He's a little bit more popular and considered better off, but I still don't really think he's that good. I think Stefanski should probably get moved on from, but they may keep him. They may give him one more chance at QB too.
But that's what's interesting, like that Browns defense is really solid, right? Not that I don't respect Garrett for what he did to Mason Rudolph ever, but I watched their game the other day. Their defense is solid. They're like top 2
they got
in the NFL. They're second ranked defense. However, the team is fucking 3-9. So, and their coach there's no fire crowd around him, no fire crowd around Zach Taylor, I don't think, because Joe Burrow saves him. And now the Ravens with Harbaugh.
The talk around Zach Taylor, I think, has been more like he's probably going to get fired once his contract's up. It's more so people talking about how he probably won't this year, though, just because the owner of the Bengals doesn't like to spend money if he doesn't have to. Yeah,
right. I think you're right though. If Tomlin did have, and I know it comes down to drafting, free agency, and and if he had a franchise quarterback, then you never know what's going to happen. If you have Josh Allen.
My opinion with quarterbacks is you can't draft them. Like you can't choose to have a good one. Like there's not a skill behind it. So they're just hard to find because they're all brain power. We don't have a way to image if your brain works well on a football field or not. So.
Who's the most recent quarterback that's been drafted that you think's got a really good chance to
Well, the last one I was a big fan of was Drake May. A lot of people were clowning on me for saying or for still hyping up Drake May compared to Jaden Daniels, and now Drake May
is on fire.
It, so sadly, he's on the Patriots. I was very unhappy. I was like, God damn, Patriots are going to get my favorite fucking quarterback this draft.
Yeah, he's definitely on fire.
God damn it, I was right. He is good.
What about the other guy too now? Bo Nix, he's in the Denver Broncos, and he's like their franchise quarterback now.
That good. I don't know if he's good enough to win a Super Bowl. We'll see.
Yeah, but I guess these teams
right now, I feel like Bo Nix might have like a Derek Carr trajectory.
What average?
like average quarterback that sometimes you have hype in his younger career because he's still young and growing, but then over time you go like, okay, this is what he is. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo, Derek Carr, there's been a million of them. Geno Smith.
Geno Smith got sacked the other day by the Browns like 10 times.
Yeah,
that was
I heard about
that was insane. The Raiders are a really bad organization.
They gotta put in the Kenny Pickett.
You want them to start Kenny Pickett over in the Raiders?
Why not? Let's just see what happens over there.
Dude, I actually thought the Raiders this year they were going to be a better team with Coach Pete Carroll. I thought that he would turn them around a bit, but they did the same thing they always fucking do, and they lose. They're a terrible team. Like they're a bad team.
Yeah.
EJ says our issues is about expectations, not. That's a fair point. Not performances. We are super lucky we support a team with these type of problems. Imagine being a Jets fan. That's right.
Yeah,
or a Titans fan this year.
Yeah, I think people. Well, that's the thing where like you talk about like the range of percentages, and like what we might do in the season. And most fans they're like Super Bowl, and it's like, have you looked at our roster? Like we have a chance, but it's not a high one. I'm not.
But we're not a great team. We're like an average to good team.
Going into the season, if it's like, will one of like the Bills, Chiefs, or Eagles win the Super Bowl, or will the Steelers win the Super Bowl? If you're taking that bet, it's like fans' expectations are that we're winning that Super Bowl, and I'm like, I mean, there's a chance we get lucky and we beat them, but if I had to put all my money on it, I'm gonna expect one of those three teams to win.
Yeah, not us in that. I guess we have the on paper the good defense, but on offense it's an average to good team, I think, because they've played good games. When I was in Dublin versus Vikings, great game. When they versus Bengals, great game. Versus Browns, good game. Versus
we have two inconsistencies. It's one, our quarterback plays bad when he was injured, so that started making our offense not good. And then two, our defense is so inconsistent, and I think that's because of Derek Harmon. He's been injured like 3 times this year, so it's like when he's on the field.
Did you see the stat about that as well, Yuly?
Yeah.
There's a stat that he was out. I had on my Twitter.
There's a stat.
Yeah,
I was just going based off like vibes. I was like, he's on the field, we're getting fucked.
No. There's a real stat. Alex Kozora, he in 3 games without first round rookie Derek Harmon, Steelers run defense has allowed 119 attempts, 548 yards, 4.6 yards per carry, 5 TDs. One man does not fix a run defense, but those numbers are stark, really stark.
Yeah, I mean it's like Jonathan Taylor, James Cook. Which one's better? I would say Taylor's better than Cook, but we held Taylor to like 50 yards and Cook for 250.
Gene's got a Yuly camera fund for $1.99.
I mean, I could whenever I exited and joined back, I did it without reselecting the camera. Maybe if I unplug my camera once actually maybe I'll just unplug it right now and plug it back in. We'll see if we can get a live hot fix, because I mean I can move around and try it while I talk, so why not?
You gotta get out of the bathroom first. You're stuck outside the bathroom.
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna figure that out later. I mean, we just have to break the door down. Need those pills.
Holy dearly. DB says here too, all we need is a franchise quarterback, and that would solve a lot. Definitely, and that's the same thing. It is a big shame happening to Daniels, because I think Jaden Daniels in the Commanders, once he was out, everything fucks up, and that, to me as a football fan too, that was quite exciting to watch him play with the Commanders, and he got injured, and now they're playing Marcus Mariota. No, nothing against him, but it's Marcus Mariota, right? So you definitely need, if you have a franchise quarterback, and like we were very lucky to have Big Ben for his run and get 2 Super Bowls. Like that's insane, to have that run. And Jetta versus Vikings have no quarterback. That means that there's no JJ McCarthy. I think he's like not playing well, or he's out. 46 says Big Ben cut off for a lot of the team in his final years. Definitely, there are certain times when Big Ben would escape the pocket and extend the play and move things around. EJ says, sorry, I've been missing a few live games. I have a new job, and it's not a work from home Monday. Oh no, he's got because we watch out in New Zealand and Australia. Our games are Monday, so we can't work from Monday anymore. That sucks. Yuly, you good now? You good with the camera? What's going on?
I'm just trying. I'm just unplugging random things in the computer and plugging it back in and see if one of them shows a picture or not. But so far, not working. No
worries. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's all right.
But
we still know you're the slayer of Poon. That's the most important part.
Yeah.
I can try and make that bigger if I can, but I don't know if that will work.
I can make it bigger.
All right. Anyways, so yeah, the big picture, Yuly. This being 6-6, Can this Steelers team go on a bit of a run? Can they turn around from how shit they've been playing?
I think we can. I mean, getting Derek Harmon back eventually will be good. And then I don't know if he's coming back this week. I'm not sure what injury he actually has. But I mean, overall, all we need to do is beat the Ravens. If you beat the Ravens twice, especially, I mean, then we can kind of suck against everyone else and we'll make the playoffs.
Because we'd have 2 over them, and we'd be 8 and something.
We'd have to win
games.
like one more game, which we play the Browns, so that's good. We play the Browns and Dolphins, actually. So that's
Dolphins is on Monday Night Football as well.
Yeah, we play the Browns, Dolphins. So if we can split the Ravens, that's 3 of 5. Then we need them to lose 3 of 5. What do they play?
But I think if we beat the Ravens twice, right, then we pretty much
beat the Ravens twice, then we're fine.
We've got to win one more game. I'm actually going to break it down into a video, maybe tomorrow, the next day. There's a way how we can do it by beating the Ravens twice. And
the Ravens play the Packers, Patriots, and Bengals. So, and then us twice. So there's a good chance actually we still make the playoffs because we have the Browns, Dolphins. I mean, the Lions one is our tough one. But like, if we lose to the Lions, we split the Ravens, then we beat the Dolphins and Browns, we're probably in.
Yeah, but still 5 games to go. Is this the lowest point in the season, you think? Like the rock bottom kind of image?
It's rock bottom so far. I mean, if we get fucked next week, then it turns out we ain't done falling yet. We can always go deeper. Never think we're at the bottom.
You don't think it's the bottom? It can always get worse?
It may not be. I mean, it may be. I'm just saying. Right? If you ever think you're at the bottom, you can always fall farther. I'll tell you that.
It's normally like the other way. You think the bottom, that's it. No, you can always stand up and you'd be sweet. But you're like, no. We can get worse. It can get worse.
Have you seen the Browns? Let me introduce you
to
this other team.
That's true.
It's called the Cleveland Browns. They're pretty far. They're a lot farther down than us.
Well, the Cleveland Browns are now committed to Sanders. What happens with Gabriel then? I don't understand that. Why the fuck do they draft 2 quarterbacks like that, Yuly, where they have now?
That was just 2 darts at the dartboard because, again, start to evaluate QBs. So
just 2 goes, and then next season they'll be like, I'm going to go with this guy or that guy, and then one guy.
Oh, they're low cost, so that's why you can do that. You shouldn't do that if you. Well, they're kind of trying. It's like you're guaranteeing that you're basically going to throw one of those picks away within a year because you're kind of just starting them both and then seeing which one is slightly has a better floor, and then ditching the other one and going with that guy. But it's low cost because they're low picks, so you don't really care about that. But yeah, Gabriel, I mean, I could tell after he played us, I was like, oh yeah, move on from him. That's not a QB.
Yeah, but now I guess they're going with Sanders for the whole way, right? You'd think.
Yep, I think at this point you give them the whole way, and then you decide if you spend the first on a new QB or you stick with Sanders. I think they're probably going to go with the first on a new QB.
Yeah, because aren't they rumored as well to get to also go for the first round pick?
Yeah, well, also they're going to be a really high pick. Yeah, like you said, and then they not only that, again, you typically don't want to start your rookie QB right away if you don't have to, so they can draft the guy in the first and get a better look at Sanders and keep evaluating. If he starts playing well, you just run and never look back. Like if he goes off all of a sudden, if he starts playing like Drake May, then you just go, okay, you stick with Sanders. And if he starts to, you give him like 4 games, he's still playing like how he's playing, you go, okay, let's throw the new guy in.
So I just figured this out, but I'm going to make this into a video later on. The Steelers can beat the Ravens twice, right? And all they have to do is beat one other team and they win the division. If the Ravens win every other game, they're just going to beat them twice because they own the.
And I think we have a high likelihood of winning the division if we can beat the Browns, Ravens once, and the Dolphins. Because then.
Okay, so if the Ravens win one of the matchups.
Because we'd have to go 3-2, and they'd have to go 2-3 of their last 5 games, and then we'd be +1 if we split.
Yeah, I think if we
and they play the Packers and the Patriots.
They have to lose one as well. Then if we split with them and they lose,
they have tough games coming up. So
yeah, they got to lose one of them. So basically, you either split with them and they lose one, or we beat them twice and we win one more game to win. So it's still a chance, and it's the race is Steelers versus Ravens.
It's a decent chance because we can I feel like we got the Browns and Dolphins on lock, so then you're just worried about the Lions. That's the only other non-Ravens game. That's not a split.
But you'd have to this week, right? If the Steelers don't win this week, we'll be 6-7, right?
We could still be fine as long as we lose to the. As long as we we could still be fine by beating the Dolphins, Browns, and then Ravens at the end. Because there's
Yeah,
a
but
if they lose to the Packers
I guess
and the Patriots.
technically, but the fan base is going to go nuts if we
Oh
lose
yeah,
again.
no, I mean definitely be a bad week. On
That's
those
true,
weeks,
true.
though, I just don't interact with people much that
You
are
just
like in the fan base.
on the internet, you just kind of check out a bit. That's fair enough. Even
Yeah,
though you can still get it done and we can turn it around because like now it's 5 games left, and someone said in the chat before, it's like just move on and we go for the Ratbirds and they win that game. It's have a game over them. But the Bills game definitely showed there were holes there for sure. And I think everyone's like fucking
I
going
don't think
crazy.
the Bills game was like that awful because it was really once we had back-to-back turnovers in the second. If we go from touchdown to they already have the ball again, it's like, well, at that point, that's when like I shut the game off because I was like, okay, well, we're like the momentum is all fucked. Like now.
Oh, the one bit,
is
yeah, the Rogers holding the ball for 45 seconds and getting tackled for a touchdown. We lost the momentum that straight in there. And then Rudolph, he threw a pick. And I was like, that was it.
Yeah,
the game was pretty much over. But
that's the game pretty much.
if you come out and play, maybe run the football and don't hold the ball for way too long like Rogers did, then you got smashed. Some were saying too in the chat, like maybe because he got landed on too, there was no flag. Sometimes when they
yeah,
land on the quarterback.
I did see that. And I was like thinking about it, but I don't know. I mean,
Uh,
I hate that flag. So
well, when
I hate when someone lands on someone and they're like flag, and you're like, what? Like whenever TJ Watt got flagged for landing because his arm was locked behind the other guy's arm and he fell slightly on the one QB like a week or two ago.
Yeah, I'll watch it just quickly, and then what happened was, so Rogers, this is it. It's 1st and 10, 7-3, first play of the game, and then Rogers does a in pistol play action pass, steps on the pocket, rolls around too much, and number 97 tackles him from the back, and no, that's not a penalty. What do you meant to do if you're tackling him from the back? You can't jump off that quickly. He got smashed though, Yuly. Absolutely smashed. Like 97.
I mean, I saw his face when it was like on the ground, and I was like, "Oh, that doesn't look good."
Yeah, Mason McCormick led up the block, and he was playing pretty well. But that is Joey. That was one of the boasters.
Mason McCormick was one of the players I was hyping up before the draft that we got.
I think he's played well this year, though.
Yeah, I hyped up him and Peyton Wilson, and they both have been going off. So Darnell Washington was another guy I was really big on, but so was like everyone else because he's just really big.
Yeah, he's a good dude. But also too, they haven't been playing him much. But yeah, Bosa gets him right. 97 knocks him into the next week, and then a fumble recovery, and then it's now 10-7. And you're like thinking, shit.
Yeah, and then with that, you're like, okay, that's not good. But then once the interception happened, I was like, okay, we're fucked. Like maybe we don't leg up 250 yards if that doesn't happen because our defense is going to be playing.
Well, if Mason Rudolph goes down the field and scores, and then we got a chance now with Rudolph to come in, and you know what I mean. So that was just didn't go our way. But I think at this time, as you've said, the big thing I've taken away from this podcast, besides you being a slow Rapoon, is the fact that Rogers has been hurt. He was playing good, got hurt, playing bad. So hopefully he can heal up. DB says Rogers needs a perk and some ayahuasca going forward since the Chargers game. He's been out of it. Yeah, that's right. That's when he got hurt too. Around that time, needs to go and do it. Did you see him like do the press conference, Yuly, when he had like the band? He looks like he's been in war or something. He looks like he's been for a lot. Like he looks pissed off now too.
He's had some unflattering photos. So when he gets hit, like there was that one sack photo, and then also whenever you see the one angle of his face hitting the ground. I was like, that's whenever I was like, oof, that's a rough look.
Did you just change your name to the moistener of cabins?
Yeah. If you know what I mean.
Holy shit. But yeah, I reckon.
Yeah, we need to get him some Percocets.
Yeah, I reckon. Hopefully he comes down because this is a big game too, Yuly. Like versus the Ravens. What they're playing is in Baltimore as well.
Let me check.
I think it is. Yeah, it's in Baltimore.
Yeah, I think so.
Because we played the last game at home.
Maybe Rogers has just gotten and like used to the perks, and now they don't hit as hard. Maybe we got up them to fentanyl now.
Yeah, Pittsburgh versus Baltimore, 5 a.m. The Cincinnati versus Buffalo, so they're trying to hang around, but Buffalo should beat them and end their season. And then really, it's a 2-horse race between Pittsburgh and Baltimore, being 6-6. So, which they can beat them. This is the kind of team as well that we've seen. For years and years that they're like this, and then they can turn it around. Like I said, that's why I said it is rock bottom. You said they can go lower and get worse, but at this point, if they walk into Baltimore
I mean, we haven't been swept by the Ravens in a long time. That's where it could get lower. If we get swept by the Ravens this year, that's rough.
So if we go on a 5-game losing streak, or do you mean we're going to win versus the Dolphins and
We can still beat other teams, but even just losing to the
okay.
Ravens for the first time, because we haven't done that in I think over a decade or so. Like we used to have like that super close record where they'd have like the same number of wins and losses, but over the past decade we started to really like break out from that, and we've been winning most of the games.
So if we lose and sweep against the Ravens, right, we can still win the North if the Ravens lose twice.
Yeah, we need and if they lose 2 times, or wait, hold on, let me just make sure. Yeah, well, if we split, we need them to lose, I think, 2 more times, and that could be the Patriots-Packers game, and then we're still chilling as long as we beat the Browns.
Well, there's still 5 weeks left. Like this season isn't over yet. It's gonna ramp up in December. Didn't Mike Tomlin have a famous saying about December or something like raising hell in December or something? I can't remember. It's time to raise hell.
For draft wise, what are you hoping for? Positional wise, what we address in the draft?
I think it all depends.
How would you
on
like us to spend our capital? Because we have, we only have 1 first-round pick, so you can't address every. You can't be like, I
reckon I'll unleash hell in December. That's right. I reckon the Steelers will obviously get quarterback somewhere. It depends if they're going to go first round or second or whatever.
I think they go first unless they're going for Aller.
Yeah, but it looks like
I think if you're going for Aller, that's because you're going to probably have a slightly evaluation process.
And it's in Pittsburgh, so imagine the publicity about getting a quarterback in the first round. What if they get him at
the 2027 QB class is really hyped up right now? Like, so they may, but you also need to take some level of QB to check. So you either take one in the first and you skip out in the 2027 draft, because at that point you've committed multiple years to testing this guy, or you take a chance like on an Aller or someone else. I would prefer Aller because he still has that first round talent. He just is injured, and I've always been a big fan of take the injured guys that fall in the draft because with that. But then if you're only committing a 3rd round pick to him, well then you can. Nothing's stopping you that if we have like a good spot to go get one of the really hyped up guys next year to trade. So like at that point, I'd be down to skip on quarterback this year, fix up. Because I still want to fix up. Like we still need a left tackle. We want a receiver too. So I would like to maybe take Aller in like the 3rd and then spend our 1st on even another left tackle because I don't trust Broderick. And then I would like to draft a wide receiver in like the 2nd or with one of our 3rds.
Yeah. But do they like the Pittsburgh Steelers? Would they trade up to get a first round QB for the atmosphere in Pittsburgh?
See, I don't think it's worth it to do that this year. You kind of just want, but there's not really like a lot of prospects. You just kind of like want to let the chips fall where they may. But I would prefer if we continue to fix the team and then trade away like 3 first round picks in 2027 if we need to. Because like I would like to take a lower cost, continue to build up the entire team, and then at that point be like, we have a built team on offense now. Now we know that no matter who we send out there, they're going to have a good supporting cast. It's like, okay, like throw out 3 first round picks, get the guy, and let's see what we can do with him.
Yeah, to me, it all depends on what happens at quarterback, and then it's a flow-on effect. Like Jedivil says, it's going to be receiver.
I do not want Kyler Murray DB.
And then, and then you'll see we ever draft this bloke called Mendoza. But I would say the Steelers are going to go cornerback. They're going to go receiver, interior line, and that kind of stuff. But definitely receiver and cornerback to build that. I want to ask you a question about the quarterback room too, Yuly. What do you think about Joey Porter? I still think he's a little bit like the guy's going to do fucking something.
I like him.
I like him, but he frustrates me sometimes when he plays. Like
I don't really have a problem with it. Like I never cared about him getting pass interference penalties. I just count that as a catch, like a reception. Like I go, okay, like I got 1 catch for 15 yards or 1 catch for 20 yards, whatever the penalty was. Because there's cornerbacks that go up like 8 catches a game, and like there's Darius Slay, and it's like I'd much rather have a guy who like doesn't like lets up 1 to 3 catches a game and gets like a pass interference penalty than someone who's getting cooked 10 times a game, laying up tons of receptions. I consider pass interference to not necessarily be a bad thing because it guarantees that they can't have yak. If you're going to get beat, you better pass interfere them. That way they don't catch the ball and score a TD. So I don't really mind the penalties. I literally like it's to the point where like it just doesn't register in my brain as like even necessarily a bad thing. I just go, okay, pass interference, but like I get one more catch.
Should he
however
be
many
doing
yards.
more though, like in terms of big plays and stuff like that?
Possibly. I don't really care too much about the picks when it comes to cornerback. I prefer my safeties to get more picks. I want the cornerback to mainly just be guarding his guy, and I get, if anything, I get more concerned when cornerbacks are laying up balls because they're trying to catch the ball too much instead of just making sure it doesn't get in the other player's hands. So for me, I'm pretty happy with them actually.
So maybe it's one of those things when, like, if they're not talked about enough, they're probably doing a
I mean,
good job.
it's the penalties. You have to disconnect the part of your
Mm.
brain that you never hear him with. You never hear him talked about with because he doesn't really get many interceptions. So you don't really hear too much about him. You only ever hear about him in negative times because it's the penalties. But the penalties aren't really that bad in my opinion. Like I'd happily take every penalty he's giving up to like have the performance that we've had at cornerback compared to like Artie Burns or Ross Cockrell. Like those guys would get penalties and not, guard
true.
anyone.
They definitely they TJ Watt talked about it too. They allow the same running play every single time, and I feel like the outside, like the role of maybe quarterback Joey Porter just wasn't there. I don't know. There were guys that just weren't covering the outside, and it was really frustrating. But I know what you mean. So his perception is that the penalties are bad, so we go, oh, he's a bad player. So I definitely do. I think that sometimes, but same time when DB says JPJ's been balling, only allowing 60 pass rating when targeted. So it depends if he's getting targeted or not. I just feel like, I maybe think that he should be getting pick plays here and there, but then I guess he's playing better coverage. It's going to force the safeties to get those picks too. Like they were, like with Cole Duggar a few weeks ago. Had a fucking great pick,
He's also had a couple chances where he's dropped them too. So
yeah, 2 or 3. Yeah. So that's what it's funny. Like we played really well against the Bengals, and then 2 weeks in a row, Bears game was 50-50, had a chance to win. The fire Tomlin crowd was crazy around the Bears game when I don't think it was as warranted. And now that it's, they almost won that game.
Necessarily an indicator, or a lack of picks isn't necessarily an indicator if you're a good or bad cornerback. Darrelle Revis is famous for, like, he's a lot of people talk bad about his like all-time greatness, the all-time great cornerback conversation. Like the number one argument against him is that he didn't have a lot of picks, but the reason he didn't have a lot of picks was people just didn't throw to him because he was so good at not letting someone catch the ball. They just did not throw at all. So of course he had no picks. The ball was never thrown there. And that's actually been the same other Jets cornerback. That's now on the Colts, Sauce Gardner. He also has been complained a lot about not getting picks, but that's also because people don't throw as much as well.
Yeah, I guess
really good at cornerback. You can be so good to where you don't get picks.
Yeah, I guess the perception is they're not getting those big plays, and I go,
and
he's not playing that well.
A man cornerback, where in a man you're right on him, so the quarterback's gonna be a lot pickier when he throws to you, versus a zone where you're in an area and then you run towards the guy as the ball's being thrown to guard him. So because it's much easier if you're running towards the guy and you have your face towards the quarterback and you see him release the ball from his hands, well, you're already looking at the ball, and now you're running and you're already running strides. It's much easier to catch and run.
Yeah, fair call.
But like Sauce Gardner, he's a good man cornerback, but he's a really good zone cornerback. Joey Porter, he's a really good man cornerback. He doesn't really play much zone. So,
and still, they tend to go to a lot of zone sometimes.
We've been doing it more recently. We have one of the highest man rates in the entire league. The game where we changed was it the Colts game? I think the Colts game we had like the second most amount of man coverage played all year, and that's when we got cooked by the Bengals. I think the week before, and what happened was we actually added in more zone into the game, and the Colts, like Daniel Jones, wasn't ready for it because again, up until that point, we were mainly a man team, and so whenever we were playing zones, that's why you saw like that one pick. Remember, Daniel Jones threw it straight into Peyton Wilson. It's because we've been playing man, so he wasn't ready to see the zone where Peyton Wilson's just sitting there looking for the ball, and so he just threw the ball he saw his guy, he threw the ball. He never saw Peyton Wilson, even though it hit him right in the chest, because he was expecting it to be man.
They play really good run defense as well versus Colts. They had that kind of limit
like
them
100 yards, I think.
50 yards, I think so. That's going to limit them too. That's why I think this season, there's a bad game here and there, but we have some good games here and there too. That's why I think we are fucking 6-6, and they, the upside can be pretty good, But our bipolar Steelers,
That's how we've always been though. I mean, even during the Killer B era, it's like we would randomly lose to like some bum of a team, and we're like, what?
Yeah. DB says we're going to re-sign Duggar. He's been pretty good. Elliott's on IR. He's out for the year. So is Jones. Jones is apparently out for the year too.
Yeah, I
So,
I
oh yeah.
resign Duggar and keep Elliott. I really like both of them.
Yeah, they definitely are. Duggar's been fantastic. So it's one of those ones, Yuly. Like I know the fan base is going absolutely wild now, but like they have shown me they can play from an average team to good and play good. But Nick Herbig was on fire yesterday, Yuly. Did you see that? He
Nick
on
was
fire.
another guy who I kept saying I kept mocking him to us constantly, and then we drafted him.
Yeah, and he's played now. I think he'll probably find some contract. Highsmith played well because the defense they're on the field 40 fucking minutes.
Yeah, I think we may
first half-
trade Highsmith this offseason or next. Yeah, it'd have to be this offseason because he's in his third year. We may trade Highsmith this offseason because we gotta get ready to re-sign Herbig and TJ's aging. You don't want an old TJ and an old Highsmith on the same team. You have
So
to keep the younger
I
guys.
think that could be a possibility too. Same with maybe Frymouth as well.
I was thinking that too. If Frymouth.
The thing is, if they trade Highsmith, it's thank you, mate. See you later. But what they'd probably do is Jack Sawyer steps up, then the Steelers would just go and draft another outside linebacker, right?
We'd probably draft them, but probably in the later rounds, like we did. Like Jack Sawyer and Nick Herbig were both fourth round picks, so you're not spending tons of capital.
Yeah.
I think if you have both of
he's
them,
been a star though, man. He's been an absolute star. Like there was the play yesterday when he was tackling the backfield. I think he was on fire, and I think that he can definitely like they'll give him a contract for sure. I think.
Yeah, I was huge on Herbig before he was a Steeler. So
the Yuly is a prophet.
I think I didn't pay attention to like the draft this year, so I didn't like do all like my picks, but the previous two drafts, the middle rounds, I am a middle round merchant. I think I was like hyping up nearly every player we drafted from like rounds like 2 to 4.
So you mean like this year? Because I've got him here as well.
Not this year. This year I didn't pay attention as much. I didn't have like a big like love of like I didn't have people I was constantly raving about.
So more last year.
The previous 2 years, yeah.
I've got a picture. You mean like the
2020, yeah, 2023, 2022, or 2023,
so
2024 draft.
Peyton Wilson, Ryan Watts. He's now out, right? He had an injury.
Yeah, Ryan Watts wasn't one I didn't know anything about him, but the well, I'm going to see his draft history. I was huge on Peyton Wilson for a long time. I was ranting in the chat about him and how like I have texts to like my uncle where I was like, dude, you gotta see this guy. We gotta get him. I'm like, he's going to be amazing. And then he fell to us.
Why is it that the Steelers aren't playing him though? They're now playing Malik Harris over him.
It's because him and Patrick Queen have shown problems working together. I personally, and also you're paying Patrick Queen. I saw the NFL. You don't sit the guy you're giving the bag to. And Patrick Queen's still pretty good. It's just mainly they can't get chemistry together. Personally, I think we should have Peyton Wilson be the green dot, but they have I think Patrick Queen as the green dot too. And that's also why you wouldn't sit Patrick Queen over Peyton Wilson is Patrick Queen's the green dot, which basically the quarterback of the defense. You know, he's getting everyone ready in line, like how the quarterback does pre-snap. So you don't sit your green dot usually, but personally, I think Peyton Wilson is a person who he seemed like a person who could like take over the green dot role. Like he seemed like he had a brain for it. And then also, if you go back to Patrick Queen on the Ravens, he was always a slight disappointment of a first round pick for them for like the first 3 years and 4 years, where they were like, okay, he's pretty good, but he's not like we were hoping he was going to be like. They were kind of hoping he would be like a Ryan Shazier, you know. But then what happened?
Ravens were happy when fans were happy they left.
Well, what happened was they traded for Roquan Smith, and that's because they were going to move on for Patrick Queen. But what happened was once they traded for Roquan Smith, they made Roquan Smith the green dot, and then Patrick Queen had a All-Pro year once he was able to not worry about all like the quarterbacking of the defense, and he was able to just go out, run around, and be fast. So I would much prefer if we gave Peyton Wilson a chance at green dot duties, but him being a much more senior level player that's being paid and whatnot, they probably feel naturally to just give it to Queen.
So when was that? Peyton Wilson's draft was what, 2 years ago? 2023?
This year, or I mean, it was not this year. Was it 2023 or 2022 or not 2020? Yeah, it was. No, it was 2024. It was 1 year ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was hyping up Peyton Wilson and Mason McCormick from that draft class. And then the previous draft class, I was huge on Darnell Washington and Nick Herbig. So like, yeah, rounds like 3.
Right, gotcha.
Yeah, rounds 3 to 4. I got some good names in there from us. I was like hyping up before the draft.
So right now in 2023, Jones, he's injured at the moment, but Joey Porter, he's we just talked about him. Keanu Benton, Darnell, Nick, and Corey Trice. He's been out forever, and Spencer Anderson's been pretty good too. He does that role.
Yep.
So that's the 2022 draft, right? Was Omar Khan?
No,
2023.
that was Colbert's last year because
So,
Colbert's
so
thing was he was going to
23
take a
has
shot
been
at
Omar
quarterback
Khan's
after he
one,
left.
right? Where they still have players from Benton, Washington, Herbig, Spencer Anderson. Herbig was round 4. So he's done
Having
quite
half your
well.
draft class after 3 years is a good hit rate.
And then we've got Faratano Fraser, Roman Wilson, Peyton Wilson, McCormack, Logan Lee. Haven't seen him play. He's been injured or whatever. And Ryan Watts. So maybe the Steelers are sneakily going through a rebuild, Yuly, like at this time. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just like it's going to take time for these players to get around. And then, Derek Harmon, Johnson. We haven't seen any of Johnson
That's
really.
why
this
I've
year.
always been like the past year, I've always said we need one more year to do this and that. Like we're not ready for a QB just yet. So I've always been happy to whenever we said Rodgers, I was just like, okay, yeah, I would have preferred us to I didn't want us to take a quarterback over Broderick Jones. I didn't want us to take a.
You're saying the team's not ready for the franchise quarterback to they're not just ready to build upon that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I've want more offensive weapons around. Like we've had no O line and only one receiver. I would prefer us to have a pretty good O-line with 2 receiving options and a decent running back, which we have at Jalen Warren. So.
What do you think about Caleb Johnson's role? I really want the Steelers to use him more, and they're not doing so.
I want them to use him more just to evaluate him more. I want to know if we should draft another running back because I do want a more typical power running back that can be quite good for a future quarterback. So if he's not
big bruiser behind the O line and you can knock him into next week. Yeah. They're not using him enough. But you go back those 3 drafts, right? And going back to Darnell and Herbig, and they've been now successful. And it's like they have Derek Harmon is injured. We've obviously seen that he's out and he's done well. Jack Sawyer, he's in rotation. Y.A. Black's done pretty good. Will Howard's on the bench. But I want the Steelers to use Caleb Johnson. They're just not using him. It's frustrating.
I mean, that's kind of also Steelers. Just we take our players slow when we draft them. Ryan Shazier was the first Steeler that broke the rule for starting as a rookie. Remember that was controversial at the time because it was a rule that rookies wouldn't start right away. But Ryan Shazier was so good that he got starting duties right away, and then the rule kind of became okay. Well, offensive Steeler players don't start right away, but. If you look at the history of certain players, Brown, it took him 2.5 years before we really started using him a lot. We just had Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown, he was doing kickoffs and punt returns, and didn't.
Yeah, but we didn't really play him much at wide receiver. So I don't think he developed into some insane player. I think he was probably pretty good right away. We just didn't know because you have to get looks at them. And then look at even Calvin Austin. I mean, we're only just starting to use him this year. This is the first year we've really been using him, and he's into year 3. I mean, Darnell Washington. This is the first year where we started to see
him a lot
play every game, and it's year 3 or year 2. And then Nick Herbig, he's still rotational. I mean, of course, he probably could be a starter somewhere else though. What else? I mean, Peyton Wilson, like you said, we're not playing him all the time. He's here too, so that makes sense. Roman Wilson, I think he started over Calvin Austin. What was it Was it the Bengals game last game? He started over him for the first time. So we drafted him a year ago, didn't use him, just like Austin. We didn't use Austin for a bit, and now we're starting to use him here and there, but very sparsely, which is what we did with Austin in year 2.
Do you think the coaching staff Smith and Tomlin are so conservative about that? They're very patient, and there's a reason why.
I think it's good to be patient with players. I do think they can be overly patient whenever it comes to other players. I think quarterback guys, though, they're good. You do want to be patient with your quarterback. That so often you see someone draft a quarterback and throw him out there, and then he gets destroyed, and you're like, okay, well, that's not how you help build someone's confidence.
Yeah. Well, what about the case with you see Steel fans say that these players with Kevin Dotson or George Pickens should have kept him. What are your thoughts around that when players leave the organization, they tend to do better? Not always, but they somewhat do better.
Sorry, what you said? I was reading chat again.
Well, what do you think about the players that leave, like Kevin Dotson, George Pickens? Now, Devin Bush is a Brown. Not always they do better, but what are your thoughts around George Pickens playing his fucking career year?
I mean, that just happens. Like I think it's something like 40% of free agent signings are failures. Like they don't work out, which means like it's kind of like the draft in that sense, where you don't really know how it's going to pan out. So you can never know if one system's just going to be way better for a player than another. So I mean, it's going to happen where there's going to be times where like you trade someone, it turns out now they go off and are amazing, and then there's going to be other times where you trade someone who you thought was good, and then they go off to be Chase Claypool.
Yeah, that's terrible.
But also, I don't mind the Pickens one because it's not like we traded him thinking he was bad. We knew George Pickens was a talented player. We traded him because he just wasn't going to work with our organization anymore. He wanted to be traded, so we got rid of him.
Yeah, but I've always said this too around this topic, right? You'll see a fan base saying we traded him and he got better. I'm like, what are they meant to do? Like as a player, you get a fresh start somewhere else. Are they going to go there to play and perform bad? No, they're going to go there and try and be the best they fucking can, and that's what Kevin Dotson did. That's what, and he didn't fit the right time because we got Ciamale with a trade, and he was not performing in our system or whatever. It wasn't the right side or whatever it is. And then George Pickens had a lot of issues. He was a fantastic player, and now he's playing really well with the Dallas Cowboys, who are same as us, they're average team. So I don't think that and sometimes people don't see the flip side too, Yuly, when we get like a Deshaun Elliott, and that works out for us. He played with the Ravens and did whatever. Or Ramsey's been a case where he's done really well. The interesting one is Jonnu Smith. Why is Jonnu Smith not being used?
Yeah, that was something that I've been confused about because he was being used a lot in the early weeks. And I was like vintage Arthur Smith, but then randomly just kind of like disappeared. I don't know really what's going on there. Maybe he's getting his role eaten up by Darnell. Like they're trying to target Darnell more, but maybe Darnell's just not getting open as like because Darnell's slower, so you might not get as open as much. So it's just we may be giving Darnell 4 Jonnu Smith plays, or maybe Jonnu Smith gets 2 catches, but instead Darnell gets 1. But his catches can be more impactful. So it's just like trying to gauge that. So like it just feels like not as much is happening, and we're not using Jonnu Smith, and we're just confused. But
Jonnu Smith is interesting to me because his stats, like last year or the year before, he had like 800 yards. And he's always played with Arthur Smith, and he's been used a fucking lot. And I just don't really get it. So in 2000 and it was in Miami, he had 800 yards with 111 targets, 88 receptions. But when he was with Atlanta and Tennessee, he was used quite a bit for TDs and yards. And now the Steelers have him. He is age 30, but they're just not using him.
We just have too many tight ends too. Like we need to trade one.
You want to play more with a 2 tight end set? You
need to trade either Jonnu or Pat, because we can still do the same set by having Spencer Anderson be our 6th offensive lineman. So like we don't need just all these tight ends really. What we're super missing is just we need a player that can get separation. We need someone that whenever Rodgers gets like
Deontay Johnson.
Runner, yeah, I mean, we need a Deontay Johnson.
Everyone hated Deontay Johnson, and like that's the kind of player we need right now is to get separation and move the defense around. Yeah,
because the main thing is we just need someone who's like a safety net that we can throw into whenever the play goes just instantly bad. Like the Rodgers touchdown thing. When you look at the play, though, like he should have thrown the ball somewhere. I mean, hell, just throw it anywhere. But But if you look at the actual play of the receivers, or all 4 of them had no separation at all, and we're all
none, 0.
And so we just need someone that is there that whenever there's that free rusher, you can kind of like throw it there blindly, and you know that at least there will hopefully be decent chance that it's not going to get picked off because it's not going to be a guy right on their ass.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's an interesting case of the Jonnu Smith thing. Is they're not using him, like you said, maybe have too many tight ends. So you can't get the ball to Fry.
I mean, really, Wilson might be able to be that guy, but again, we haven't really used him a ton to know if he can be.
Yeah, definitely.
That's where the big thing I would have done is I probably would have started roaming a lot more, and I would have been playing him a lot more just to see where we're at with him. Because he's the 3rd round pick. He was injured all that. Like a lot of people were going to the season down and roaming Wilson. I'm like, why are you down? He was just injured. Like he didn't play. And also like people who are happy with Calvin Austin this year, like early on in the year where he was starting to cook more. It's like, well, yeah, he was also injured for the entire year that 1 year, and now he's just starting to play. So we don't really know what Roman Wilson is. So I would really like to get him out. My big thing for this year is hopefully we make the playoffs, but I more so care let's evaluate Caleb Johnson and Roman Wilson, get them reps just to see if we can, like, because if Roman Wilson starts to play better, we might be like, hey, you know what, we're not getting a wide receiver in this draft until like the 5th round because we just don't need to. Then.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And same with that could solve the issue for the 2026 right season where you have.
And it even solves our big problem on the team right now, which again, the no separation.
Yeah,
it might
definitely.
even be a solution to this year.
Wilson right now has 12 receptions and 20 targets, 166. He's done 2 TDs, 1 in garbage time. Calvin Austin is probably not having. He had a better year last year, I think, with Wilson, in my opinion. I think, but I think he had more yards last year. 2 TDs and 278. But the big thing is also in the chat's talking about is DK Metcalf. What are your thoughts on and we're going for the whole fucking roster. We're this show's going forever. What are your thoughts on DK Metcalf? Because I do like your viewpoint and stuff. What's DK Metcalf?
He's been slightly underwhelming. I mean, he kind of feels very similar to GP, where it's just like lots of talent, but he gets like a big play here and there, but we're really just not using him too much, which is kind of like what happened with GP. Again, he would get like a big catch here and there. We know he has tons of talent, but he's not setting the numbers we would like. Which that could be down to maybe wanting some better QB play, but also where he has been slightly underperforming was I think there was like a catch in the short amount of time I was watching the Bills game, or maybe not even catch, maybe it was like a ball thrown to him, and I just felt like he should have been able to. I think it was a catch because I think it was like he got tackled shortly after. I'm like, he was just slow at accelerating there. Like he should have been able to accelerate past that guy and break a big play.
Well, I've seen it firsthand in the Vikings game. He ran super fast, 75-yard pass. I think there are a few things. I think the quarterback play right now with DK isn't on point, and I think they are missing that receiver ray gun and receiver number 2 because that would also allow him to free up. But there are times, and I've seen other podcasters and guys in Steelers media talk about this. They say he's not that great on a competitive catch. He can catch the football and be physical, but he's not one-on-one, not that great.
I've been pretty happy with him up until when I've started to be less happy with him was it coincided with our downplaying quarterback play. So I think those two are very much linked. Is whenever I'm starting to be like, he hasn't been doing as good as I feel like he should have been. Because like I was happy in the beginning of the year, like he gets 4 catches for 20 yards each, like cool, like 4 for 70. I'm happy with that. That's fine. But now it's like, okay, it's like 1 for 4 yards, and I'm like, okay, well we can't be having that. But that also coincided with the Rodgers injury, so.
They may go together, right? Rodgers being hurt,
and then another thing with that DK was famous for that Pickens also had a problem with was giving effort on every play. He's not a player that will give effort on every play like Pickens, where if they know they have like almost like if they're the 4th read, and this is a big problem because like think about like whenever we talk about like whenever like someone's free rushing Rodgers and he needs to get the ball somewhere. Well, if you're not, even if you're the 4th read and you're not really trying that hard, well, if you were trying hard and you get open, we may not leg up a TD on getting sacked because Rodgers will see someone open because he was able to get to all 4 reads and look at it. Because like as he's getting right before the sack where he gets injured, you see him check all 4. He does look at all 4 people, rise as soon as no one there, and then gets slammed. So maybe DK was the 4th read on that play, and he just didn't decide to play in his effort because he's like, well, what are the chances I'm gonna get the ball? Because usually you don't get the 4 reads, and then so he doesn't give effort, and then it turns into a TD like that. Which I'm not saying that is something.
You're saying that the receivers need his back because also Rodgers called out Johnny Smith for running the wrong route. Maybe they're just off a bit, but it's funny because I read the comments for the Rodgers thing, and people are saying how they 14 weeks in and they can't get down the connection or the communication and stuff like that. That's a really frustrating part. But I think Rodgers has been off, so then maybe therefore the receivers have been off too. In that sense. But we definitely do miss someone, like you said, getting open and not just having 2 people on DK Metcalf, because I've seen many times he can't win those 50-50 balls like a Pickens can. But I do think he's one of the top receivers, and we got him for a 5-year contract. But they got to feed him more, Yuly, haven't they? Not can't they just feed DK more?
I feel like not really right now, not too much. Like I mean, maybe somewhat more. But I mean, I think right now. I mean, if the thing is, he would probably get more if the quarterback play was like where it was at the beginning of the year. He wouldn't be doing as bad the previous few weeks. So we're limited right now by our QB play, and then also again not having a second receiver. We just need a second receiver to like draw some attention over there. So that's why I'm really big on we need to get Roman Wilson out there, just see what we have in him, because I could save us a first round pick next year. Like using on receiver, we may use a first round pick on receiver. Now we have 2 receivers. We can use a first round pick on a left tackle or a QB.
Is there any fault for the Arthur Smith and also Mike Tomlin offense that they're just not game planning well enough for these guys to get open?
I feel like we've had creative plays here and there. I've been pretty happy with the like some of the designs. I more so complain about I'd be more worried about like our defense being more simple, if anything, or I feel like we have a really good elite players, so we can beat people being very simple, but I would like us to like be more adaptive. Like there's been like, it was this game and the Green Bay game and the Seahawks game where we are winning the first half, halftime comes out and it's like, okay, well, get ready to take one up the butt because they changed something and we're not going to change anything ourselves.
Yeah, defense-wise has been like that. They've allowed I did a video about it, but I don't know if you know, the Steelers allowed 249 yards rushing for the first time since in a Steelers stadium since 1975.
Yep,
it's the most historic, worst rushing game ever. James Cook cooked us. Josh Allen was running around everywhere. He got a TD.
We may have a funny, but this is also going to be an unpopular solution to I know like Steelers fans aren't going to like it, but we may have a funny but unpopular solution to the wide receiver problem for the offseason.
As in like another wide receiver, or do you mean like a tight end?
There's a name I'm thinking of. That's going to be a free agent.
Hang on, let me guess. You're saying he's playing now?
He won't. He's going to get cut by his team, so he will not be. You can't find this by searching free agents, but he's going to be cut by his team.
Wait. And the chat can play too. So you're saying the Steelers might bring this guy in. Are you saying it's a rumor, or you think it
Jared already got it? Jared, we're talking about. How funny would it be? We get Brandon Ayuk that we were trying to trade the second for, and now we traded our second for DK. Now our receiving room's the guy we tried to trade a second for, and the guy.
So wait. That comes up again. The old Ayuk conversation.
Dude, I think we need to take a hit on that. He was a super high performer. Again, it's the GP thing. He's angry at his team. He doesn't want to play for them anymore.
You play better for us.
Here. Let him cook over here.
He's
not bad. He's just he was injured. He got injured, and then he's also going to be a lot cheaper because he's getting cut because he's not cooperating with the team. He's only going to get signed for like $15 million next year too. So yeah, I think that's a low, and I think that fixes us having to spend our first round pick on a wide receiver. So
do
that
you think
protects
the
us in the draft. He's a separation person.
Did the Steelers fail the receiving core this year? Did the same thing as last year? Was it a failure?
I was okay. I mean, I definitely would have preferred to get I didn't want to use like a high draft pick on a receiver because we already used a little bit of draft capital at Roman Wilson because we hadn't seen him yet play. He was injured. So people are like, we need a receiver. It's like, well, we don't need to spend everyone wanted to spend like a first round pick this year. I was like, we already spent a third last year and oftentimes again with these receivers, lots of them are good in a second, third, fourth round. So we already spent a third on a lotto ticket. So why don't we spend like another third or fourth on another lotto ticket? Now we got 2 lotto tickets. That's how I was hoping to go into the season. They ended up not doing that. And I felt like that was slightly weak. But I was okay with it because I was like, well, we can evaluate Roman Wilson and then make a trade at the deadline if we need to. I think they failed in the sense that they didn't evaluate Roman Wilson after, and then they didn't make a trade. And at that point, that's why I'm like, okay, well, if you're not going to evaluate Roman Wilson,
they didn't do one or the other, right? They didn't play him or fucking trade.
If you're not going to draft a first round guy or a third round guy, okay, well then you got to evaluate Roman Wilson. Okay, well if you're not going to evaluate Roman Wilson, you got to do a trade. Okay, well you're not doing a trade now, so that's where they failed.
Yeah, I think as well, to me, I don't think that they need another bigger body receiver. Like having Roman Wilson and Austin are kind of same kind of size guys, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was fine with that just because they're a similar role, but that's the role we're trying to fill is like a faster, more separation guy. So I was fine with that because I was like, we got 2 people. Hopefully one of them can fill the role, but so far I would say neither have. Roman Wilson kills Stan Kill because again, we haven't seen much, so he still may be that guy, but until they play him, we won't really know. Or until we get more snaps with him.
So basically, you say that they didn't play him and they didn't trade for someone, so they did nothing. They didn't neither or, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I think they failed. I think you should have played them a lot and then traded for someone. Like, what was it? Rashid Shaheed, he got traded for was it a 4th and a 6th? And he got to choose where he wanted to go. So he chose the Seahawks, right? I think maybe, well, no, that was a different player. I think maybe. But anyways, we traded like a 4th and a 6th. It's like maybe we should have did a 4th and a 6th because that was a tied thing. So we could have done a 4th and a conditional 5th, where if we make the playoffs, it becomes a 5th round. If we don't make the playoffs, it becomes a 6th round. And now that one ups the other person's draft or the other person's trade package that was a 4th and a 6th. Like, I don't think I feel like we need a receiver, and if we have to give up a 5th, a conditional is like a possibility of giving up a 5th. If we make a playoffs, I would be completely fine with just doing that.
If they would have kept George Pickens, do you think the Steelers could have been a better powerhouse this year with two big receivers like that, and also
they have enough talent where it would have been fine, because then they each would have, like, we would have still been feeling like we want something for separation, but each one of them would have been getting like a couple big catches each game. So we would have probably still had like a clunkier offense, but it would have been probably pretty good.
I wonder could they have handled his, Pickens moments, because there was times in the Steelers when they're starting now with Dallas, but he's performing, so no one cares. But in the Steelers game versus in the Christmas game, he was apparently 1 hour late, or a half an hour. He turned up to the meeting.
Also, he requested a trade, I think. So this wasn't about it working out with us. Like, we didn't. When people were like, we should have kept Pickens, it was like, I don't believe it was our decision. Let me check, because I think Pickens had a quote that I read on Twitter in the Dallas Cowboys presser like a week and a half ago, where he basically just said that he's still on good terms with Tomlin and the Steelers. He could call them up anytime and they'd answer, and he would be comfortable asking them for advice. Just that, in that he said like he respects the organization for like he said basically like, I felt like it wasn't gonna work out there, and I respect the organization for like accepting my request basically to be moved on from. So I believe that was a Pickens decision, not a Steelers.
I saw a funny, not a funny post. It's a little bit funny. George Pickens put a post out there on Instagram with Brittany Mahomes, like Mahomes' wife, for Thanksgiving, and he said, "We're gonna feast," and I was like, "Fucking hell, that's bad." Like, like, as in, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, "What's he would just do stuff like that." Highly talented. The guy in fantasy is freaking awesome. But I think the Steelers may have made the right decision. It doesn't look like now, because they definitely need a receiver number 2 or someone to get, opposite separation. But yeah, this is a funny one now, because the Steelers look like 2 years in a row that from that perspective, they kind of failed a little bit and didn't solve it.
Also, you should probably just expect receivers to never end up with one team. I mean, not even just the Steelers and all of our receivers that we've moved on from, but it's like, look at the 49ers. They were a big powerhouse with Debo and Ayuk. Ayuk's getting cut after this season, and Debo's on Redskins. So it's just like Stephon Diggs. I mean, he had his all kinds of drama moments with the Patriots, or not the Patriots, the Bills. Like, it's just receivers are
now he's with the Texans. Is he back with the Texans?
No, he went from the Bills to the Texans to the Patriots. He's on the Patriots right now.
Fucking hell! So you are right. I can't even keep up who's going where.
Yeah. So I mean, Tyreek Hill, he wasn't able to stay on the Chiefs. Just receivers are a dramatic, fickle thing that you personally, I draft and pass. Okay, you draft. That's not, you don't settle down. That's not a girl you settle down with. That's a girl. You have a fun time with, and then you move on from. You go, okay, you can be someone else's headache.
So I see what you're saying.
Get them early while they're young, cheap, good looking, and then when they're older and expensive, say that's someone else's problem.
Ship them out. That's terrible. Holy dooly. All right, Yuly, let's start to wrap it up here, and the Steelers big picture, because we've been going an hour and 40 minutes. But I do love your outlook on the Steelers. It's definitely a different perspective. It was Diggs to the Patriots. I can't keep up with the receivers are going, to be honest. It's very tough. But we have DK Metcalf for our offense. Before we get out of here, we have a chance, Yuly, to beat these Ravens, and we have a chance to win the North. What do you think?
I think we can do it. The Ravens, they haven't played the best against us. Their offense is still struggling. I mean, the main thing is the big question will be, do we contain Henry or not? Because who knows with us? It's like, maybe we'll contain Jonathan Taylor. Maybe we won't.
Maybe we won't.
Is Derek Harmon playing? Actually, that's a good question. Actually, I
I
should
don't
probably Google that
know.
first.
Yeah, see if he's playing for sure.
Status.
That's a big stat I got from the Alex Kozora. He's been out 3 games, 120 attempts, 4 yards average, 5 TDs. So
yeah, I'm searching right now.
But I'll tell you what, before we leave, this conversation says to me, like, this is why I don't want to hear about fire Tomlin in those 2 words. I would rather have an in-depth conversation for you for an hour and a bit to talk about everything and fucking figure it out and see where they're going. Because what you've just said too, quarterback-wise, Rodgers been hurt. Therefore, the receivers haven't been getting the ball. Derek Harmon being out, the rushing
rise
game.
of tide lifts all boats. The receivers ain't going to be
like,
receiving well if the quarterback ain't quarterbacking well.
Yeah, there's a lot to it, and I think that when it started last week, when the Steelers lost to the Bears by 3 points, and they had quarterback Rudolph Minor had a chance to win the game, maybe the noise was loud then. And I'm thinking the noise should have started with the Bills game. And it was a bad loss against the Bills. They fucking trumped us. They killed us, right? But I don't think it's that, like, we all know they're not, like, if you're an owner, if you're Coach Yuly and you're the owner,
I dream constantly, like 3 times a week, about being an owner of an NFL team and the stuff I would do.
But it's right now, if you're the owner of the Steelers,
yeah,
would you fire Mike Tomlin tomorrow?
No.
Why is that?
I mean, I have the belief that we just need a cute quarterback. I like Tomlin. I think he can win us a Super Bowl because he has won a Super Bowl. And until we have a good quarterback that is playing at an elite level, that continues to play at an elite level. Like, I mean, Rodgers was playing at a high enough level to win the Super Bowl earlier in the year. Mm-hmm. He just hasn't been right now. But I don't think Tomlin is the reason Rodgers isn't playing as good right now. So I'm not going to hold that against Tomlin.
And also, if you were to
think Tomlin's like, paying other players to fall on Rodgers' hand,
That's true.
If he was doing that, then I would fire him tomorrow.
Do you think he's paying Bosa to have a good pass rush?
Yeah, he's doing like some type of sick reverse Sean Payton, what was that scandal called? Like the headhunting? He was paying players to injure. He pays bonuses to injure other players.
Was that Sean Payton? I thought it was someone else.
No, that was Sean Payton.
Oh.
That was the Saints. That was like the time where they won the
Super Bowl. But who was the defensive coordinator for that?
Someone else. No clue. I was probably
the guy who did it. Bountygate. Yeah.
Bountygate. That was it. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was paying people to headhunt and hit him hard.
Yeah. He was paying player. He pay you a bonus. Like, hey, you enter the quarterback.
And then we forget about that, and now he's a good Denver Broncos coach.
Yeah, but everyone loves him again.
Yeah, but I find same about Myles Garrett. Like they forget that he tried to use a helmet as a weapon against Rudolph, and now we're just he's almost on track record.
I mean, think about like that. It's like the news. It's like here's this thing needs your attention. The world is ending because of this thing, and then it's like in 2 days it's like, well, that's old news. We don't cover that anymore. It's boring. Yeah. That doesn't get the views.
Well, it's a bit like the NFL, like you said. Like there are certain scandals on players, and then they try and the NFL doesn't want these players who are superstars in a bad.
Like
mix.
I said, whenever we were talking about Ryan Shazier cheating, I was like, hey, that's a lot better than most NFL players.
But even that scandal was like only 2 or 3 days because he came out and squashed it real fast and quick, and the Steelers don't want I guess that negative press around it, right?
Larry Fitzgerald is GOAT.
He's
awesome.
Was
just silent. He was on a trash team and silent too. That's crazy. Just silent, did his thing.
He was very fun to watch.
I lived by the Pitt Athletic office that lived, there's a Pitt Athletic office named after him that I would walk through all the time because I lived 10 minutes walking, 2 minutes driving from it in Pittsburgh.
Before you go, anyone have questions for Yuly? I got one for you, Yuly. Who's your favorite NFL player?
Ben Roethlisberger.
Besides Steelers.
Oh, that's.
Maybe do one offense all time and one defense all time.
Well, I just don't even really think about other teams that much, so I would have to just. I feel like this is something where I'll say, and then in 2 hours from now I'll be thinking about, and I'm gonna be like, oh wait, no, this other guy I forgot about. Larry Fitzgerald would probably because instantly I think and I go probably Larry Fitzgerald, he's top tier. Larry Fitzgerald. Yeah.
What about defense and besides Steelers?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It'd probably be some player that I just wish we could have gotten, and I'm trying to think about that.
Oh, that would fit.
I mean, I really liked Jalen Carter out of the draft, but I don't really have a connection to him. Like Larry Fitzgerald, I feel like part of the reason also I love Larry Fitzgerald so much is that he played for Pitt, so it's like he was part of the Pittsburgh city. Like I would drive like whenever I'm driving around Oakland, I see his name around, So there's still a connection to the city, even if it's not a connection to the team. Yeah, I really trying to think.
All time. Anyone all
I was
time?
thinking about saying Jalen Ramsey, and then I was like, wait, he's a Steeler now.
Yeah.
Darrell Revis, actually, I'm a big fan of Darrell Revis. We were talking about him earlier and how he sometimes gets trashed on for not having INTs. Well, that's just because he had if you look up, there was like one season he had where it was like he was going up against like Megatron, Julio Jones, and it was like how many? It's like they had one catch, 10 yards. And it was like week after week, and you're like, that was like I think whenever Dez Bryant was footballing, he was playing Dez Bryant, he would get no catch. Like he was going up against like where a lot of we had that cluster of just great receivers, and he allowed them to do nothing.
Well, he also started the Revis Island, and everyone now takes that right Island because that was him, but it really was him, Revis Island.
Yeah.
He was 1-on-1, took away their best receiver, and then the game panned out that way.
I think about if we had Ed Reed and Troy Polamalu on the same team all the time, because I'm like, man, two of the best safeties of all time played at the same time, and it's crazy that they got drafted by rival teams that also hate each other. So that's kind of cool. But it would have been even cooler if they were on the same team.
Ed Reed was insane the way he played. I got another question for you too, Yuly. This is from the drive on Steelers.com. So give a shout out to them. They have one where Matt Williamson and Wes Yuly, they take, if you want to take a player from the Ravens team, and who would you take? And you can't say no, you got to take a player that fits the Steelers offense. Steelers team right now.
Okay.
Like where our weak points are. Would you take Lamar Jackson? Would you take Derrick Henry? Who would you take? One player.
I mean, the easiest question would be Lamar Jackson, because then he instantly becomes Super Bowl contender. If you get rid of Lamar Jackson, that's more interesting because Derrick Henry's an older running, he's like age 30. So you're having him for this year. So maybe beginning of the year you say, yeah, we'll take Derrick Henry because he could up our running game, but right now we're not sure if we're not sure the level of quarterback play, because I don't know if if a broken hand is going to heal before the playoffs even. So we might just have
you take Lamar Jackson, then you don't have the receivers, right, for this offense.
Well, I think he would be enough to if you have a good quarterback, you can make it work. But if you're having a good enough, you can't have any quarterback. You have to have three quarterbacks. If you have Joe Burrow, and even if they get rid of Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, Joe Burrow is still going to be balling out. Drake May doesn't have the best receivers. He has Stephon Diggs, who was amazing, but he's not the same Stephon Diggs he was 5 years ago. And then after that, you don't really have you have Kendrick Bourne, Kayshon Boutte. But those are not big names, but he's still just balling out. That's why I think that's where I think you can prove Drake May special is he's just balling out with okay people. But if we want to make it more interesting, not pick a quarterback, if we went back a few years, I would have said their center, because fucking Kendrick Green. But now that we have Frazier,
you see Big Ben ripped Kendrick Green and came back and apologized because Kendrick Green got upset.
Really, if anything, I feel like Kendrick Green shouldn't have been upset, because Ben has always been overly nice, because he tries to be professional with anyone he's ever played with. I was finally he's starting to slightly, because I did see the comment where I'm like, finally he's starting to slightly just tell it how it is with Kendrick Green. Well, you don't gotta polish a turd and tell me it's a diamond.
Yeah, he said something like, we didn't have a center when the Steelers never gave me a center.
Yeah, I felt like that was fine. He didn't even bring up a name. Because the thing is, when he does bring up a specific name, anytime he's brought up Kendrick Green, he is super complimentary of him. But whenever he was just being vague with the position, I think that's perfectly fair, because I feel like other quarterbacks maybe a younger quarterback would have just been Young Ben probably would have been Kendrick Green's ass. And he wouldn't have been retired yet. Young Ben would have been in the media being this guy is ass.
Yeah. But I think also Zach Frazier's been playing. We didn't talk about. He's been playing really well too. I think
if we had to take anyone that's not Lamar, who we'd probably take. But I feel like I would want to take. So I would take what's his face, their linebacker we were just talking about,
Roquan Smith.
I would take Roquan Smith, and then trade Queen if we need to, and then we have Smith and then Wilson as a young guy, and then Smith can be our green dot, and then hopefully they work better than Queen and Wilson do together, chemistry wise. I would take Smith, and then But I think an interesting one if you were more because I don't care about any one single season. I always care about keeping a the highest percentage chance of us winning a Super Bowl throughout all the seasons. So like I'm not a guy who's like sell the farm. That's why I would have been fine with Rashid Shaheed for a fourth and a conditional fifth, but I was fully out on like Jalen Waddle. I was like, do not trade a first or a second for that. We are not selling the team for a second wide receiver right now, and we don't know if we have a QB.
Well, there was rumors around Tyreek Hill too, all that kind of shit, right? Like first round picks, all this kind of shit.
Yeah, like I'm not about that. But I would but I think a lot of people would take Zay Flowers because that would possibly fix the wide receiver position. He seems pretty good, but I just don't know if he's going to be like a guy who's pretty good or a guy who's amazing or not. I would prefer just to take the guy is going to play for 5 years at an all-pro level on linebacker, even though we don't technically need a middle linebacker.
Yeah, but you always want to make the team better.
Yeah, and you want longevity. Like Derrick Henry he might retire in a year or two, so you don't want that.
You know what? Derrick Henry is one of my favorite players, though. He's unreal.
Oh, yeah, he's a beast.
The way the guys run, he's crazy.
He's everything we want Najee to be.
Yes, and now Najee's injured as well. Well, he's
Bro, how about the Chargers and their luck? I mean, they pay Najee, then they draft Hampton, and then they both get injured for like the entire year.
Yeah, and what are they coming now? Chargers are like,
they're ahead of the Chiefs. I think they're in pretty good chances to make the playoffs.
They are 8-4. Fucking
yeah, we have
hell.
10 teams who are like in the playoff hunt, and I think the Chargers are pretty locked because they're ahead of the Chiefs. So
you think the Chiefs miss it this year? They're 6-6.
I think there's a good chance they do because there's going to be Patriots, Broncos. Patriots and Broncos will win their division. And then you got the Colts or Jaguars. So let's just say the Colts. Then the Jaguars are 8-4, the Chargers are 8-4, and then you assume, and then the Bills are 8-4. So you have 3 8-4 teams. So the Chiefs are 2 games down. So there's a good chance.
The Chiefs also this will be a big fucking game. Sunday Night Football, Houston at Kansas City, and Texans have been playing really well on defense.
Yeah, they have.
They're
7-5. Yeah, I mean the Chiefs. There's a good chance they miss it.
That'd be crazy. So the Texans, they've won 4 in a row, right? But who's their quarterback at the moment? Their quarterback's like
it's Davis Mills, but they're going back to CJ Stroud, I think, this week.
Oh, this week. So, but I guess so they won 4 in a row with Davis Mills.
Yep.
So they won Colts, Bills, Titans, Jaguars, or in that reverse order. Sorry, Jaguars, Titans, Bills, Colts. So last week I actually picked them to beat the Colts because of their defense. Oh, CJ Stroud did play last week.
Oh, he did.
Okay. That's gonna be a fun game to watch because basically the Texans could end the Chiefs season probably next week, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, if they lose next week, I think. I mean, if they lose next week and the Bills and Chargers both win, if all the 8-4 teams win and they lose, then I think they're toasted.
Wow.
If 2 of the 3 8-4 teams win and they lose, then there's a slim chance they make it. But it's pretty dire for them to win at this point.
And the only real way for us to make the playoffs is win the division, right?
I will say that yesterday, if we beat the Bills, we would have had a chance at a second playoff spot if the Ravens also went out and then we lose, we split them, but we still do pretty decent. I think we could have made it, but now with losing to the Bills, now it's tough.
So Buffalo needs to win theirs to keep the wild card up. Versus Cincinnati, which is good for us to finally shut the fuck up the Bengals fans. And you need Indy and Jacksonville going for their AFC South. We're going for the division. Denver's versus Las Vegas. That should be a win to cap off them.
The Bengals, they fell into the same trap that was pretty obvious, which is you don't pay 2 wide receivers. Top tier money. The Dolphins did it. Look at where they're at now. The Chargers did it, and those players aren't the players. That team had to get rebuilt. They got their coach fired. And then they rebuilt the team, so that didn't work for them. They had to change it up. Now they pay 0 wide receivers over there. So the Bengals, they just messed up by just putting so much draft capital and
they had 54% or 55% was into 3 players: Joe Burrow, Higgins, and Chase.
And then I don't get not trading. They didn't trade any of them at the trade deadline, right? Like Trey Hendrickson or T Higgins.
No, they didn't trade both of them. They
were pretty much out of it at that point. Like at that point, you get draft capital. I don't know what you're doing.
Hendrickson is he's like injured / not playing, and then the same time he wants to leave the team.
Yeah, like if I was them, I would have traded Higgins at the deadline, get like a third, and now maybe you can extend Hendrickson. The only thing is Hendrickson might also be just like fuck you because
I think
he
he
has been
wants
trying to
out.
get this extension for 2 years now, and they said they
Yeah.
were going to give him an extension apparently. Like the reason he was holding out a lot this year, was he said that apparently they promised him an extension last year because he was holding out last year, and they said we'll get it to you this year. But if you can fix that relationship by throwing a bunch of M's at it, I would have done that where you trade Higgins, get like a third or something, and then maybe a
Well,
second if someone's desperate. And then
Bengals fans are hoping that they go on a 5-game win streak to maybe win the division if the Ravens Steelers fuck up because they've lost a lot of games. But once the Bills beat them next week, if they do, then their season's over too. They'll be four
yeah, I
and
would have just
four and
traded and
nine
got what capital I could have.
for Henriksen.
Well, I would have traded Higgins and tried to keep Hendrickson, like if we could like see if there was a possibility of smoothing things over in the offseason now that we aren't paying 2 receivers. But at the if he was like still going to be gone no matter what, then it's like trade them both because you don't want to be paying 2 receivers and you don't then if Hendrickson's going to be gone, I wouldn't have kept him for the rest of the season. It's pretty much over.
So this game coming up, right? So we've in the last was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're 2-5, Yuly. 2-5. That's bad, right?
Yeah,
We won the Bengals and we beat the Colts.
I couldn't see anything on Carmen's injury, so hopefully he's playing.
Right. So the
If he's not
Steelers are
playing,
going.
I'll predict we'll lose. If he's playing, and then I'm hoping I predict we split this. If I'm predicting a loss, that means I think we're gonna win at home.
Yeah, it could be for the division.
Yeah, but if Hendrickson out, I think we lose this game. Hopefully, win the next one, and then if he's there, then I think we're fine.
Yeah, right. Holy dilly. All right, let's get out of here, Yuly. Thanks everyone in chat. We have 11 people in the chat near the end. A 2-hour conversation because I haven't spoken to Yuly for since last year. So I thought we'll get it all out.
Might have been last draft.
Could have been. I'm pretty still it out, but fuck, that was cool. It's a lot going on. Yeah, thanks, man, for coming on the show as always. And also for being a crazy supporter that you are. You always gift memberships like you're fucking Oprah. You get a membership. You get a membership. You get a membership. So it's cool. Thank you, Roberta. And yeah, I'm going to try and plan. I want to make, because I got college football 26. I want to make a Hooly Dooly University online. I got to figure that out. So
yeah, that'd be cool.
But Yuly says, do not stress. We'll be okay, hopefully.
Yeah, I feel like my experience as a Steelers fan versus like how fans react is I'm very much more mellowed out. Like I keep a consistent baseline that like it moves where it's like we need changes, but the changes isn't like burn everything. It's like we'll try this.
Well, you're looking into, that's why it's the big Steelers picture with Coach Yuly, because I think you're looking at last 2 years and the next 2 years.
Yeah, like the Bills game that had me nuts, but that never impacted how I felt about our process of what we should do, like my process of how to build a good team, because I believe that there's a way to build a good team and a way to not. And so whether we're losing or not, I'm not going to change what I think is how you build a good team or not. So I don't let emotions gauge how I
like week to week emotions, like fire Tomlin, fuck you Tomlin, when it's like you're building this, it's from next year's draft.
And I think about it as like many multi-year processes. Like anytime I'm like, that's why when we talk about like picking a Raven, if you can't do Lamar, I'm like, I was thinking about like Roquan Smith. I'm not thinking about Derrick Henry because I want someone who's going to be there for 5 years, not someone who's going to be here for this season. I don't care that much about this season compared to 5 seasons. I want us to be like, if it's like we have like a pretty good shot at like winning, like going on a run to like the AFC Championship if we trade for Derrick Henry this year, or we have like a decent shot of making the playoffs every like the next 5 years by taking Roquan Smith. I'm taking Roquan Smith to get in the playoffs and get 5 chances at it rather than put everything on one.
Yeah, well, that's why I was thanks coming on, because the big picture with Coach Yuly. This might be a thing, maybe getting on every week or every month or something like that. I don't know, because you calm me down, bro. I'm like, oh, that's what they're doing, It's not that bad, even though we lost fucking a lot and Rodgers got sacked and hit, and there's things that I think they're doing in the draft that the Darnell and Herbig that's working, right? Troy Fajardo that's working. Depending on what they do next time.
Yep. I mean, winning a Super Bowl is about stacking 3 drafts more than it is about any one singular move.
Yeah, 3, and have those players, and then you have the rookies come into the players in 3 or 4 years, right?
If you tickets 3 years in a row, you're going to have a pretty decent shot at a Super Bowl.
Yeah. If you get like back-to-back good drafts 3 years in a row.
Yeah,
Or
like think about like we haven't had the Jets draft where they drafted the offensive player of the year and the defensive player of the year in the same draft. Like that, if you look at that draft, they had like 4 straight insane players. Like our draft last year and the year before, it's pretty good, and those are the draft like you want to keep stacking those. But then like you also want to get like some like the Lions draft 2 years ago. Lions draft history. They had what? They drafted Brian Branch, Jameer Gibbs, and Jack Campbell.
Gibbs is
Like,
unreal, dude.
yeah, they got all these players that are like really good players all in one draft. That's just so rare to happen, and you just gotta kind of get lucky with that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gibbs is
Sam
unreal.
Laporta was that draft too. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we haven't had that kind of draft.
I traded him away in my fantasy to get your reaction. I don't think you didn't respond, Tyson.
Yeah, I didn't care at that point because at that point Derrick Henry was dropping, or not Derrick Henry. Dalton Kincaid was like the number like 3 tight end in the league. I was like, never mind, I'm chilling with this guy.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. 3 or 4 drafts in a row, and we're a functional team, right? I don't know. All right, Yuly, let's get out of here. It's 2 hours in. Holy smokes! I'm gonna go watch. Who's playing tonight? The Giants versus Patriots.
Okay.
Ooh.
See,
Yeah,
Drake
I
May,
like that game.
Drake May. That's his nickname. Everyone is calling him Drake May.
As in the rapper or whatever.
They're just calling him his name and then his name again in quotation marks as his nickname. That's just like a joke. He's been like one of the most popular players recently because apparently like his wife, I forget what, but his wife posts like TikToks of like making food or something. Like she just does like some like at home like thing, like I forget what it is, like something like very innocent. And all the comments are like, make sure you feed Drake May well tonight, or could you rub Drake May's tummy, or could make sure you're giving him kisses and on his boo boos. Like it's just
He's
them all.
21 TDs, 6 interceptions, 37 sacks, 3,000 yards. Playing good over there. I like as well. Trayvon Henderson over there too. I really liked Drake May because I felt like he was like more Ben style. Like he's a pretty strong dude that has like a really good arm, and that's why I was pretty big on him. I like because I prefer if you can be strong, take hits, and be a really good passer, especially deep. Because I prefer that over the running style if possible. I mean, like if I have the option to get Lamar Jackson, I'll take him, but I prefer, if I get the choice in it, to have a more Drake May-like player that's just less likely to get injured for the playoff runs, and also more likely to have a 20-year career instead of like maybe a 10 or 15-year career. Yeah, you've got the game tonight is him, Drake May versus Jackson. Is it Dart?
Yeah, Jackson Dart. He's been pretty good.
Yeah, so that should be cool. All right, thanks everyone in the chat. Thank you, Yuly. Thank you, fucking everyone. 2 hours in, we might do this again because Yuly's got such a good NFL mind and knows how to figure things out in terms of like a CEO like perspective of like Omar Khan, which is really, really, really interesting. And even though the loss sucked yesterday,
remember, guys, make me the next Steelers GM.
Yeah, that's right.
We gotta start campaigning. I need to start getting picked.
You wanna be like Omar Khan's assistant and then start working for him.
I want to be his boss. I want to be.
You want to be Omar Khan's.
I'm gonna be pumping out draft bangers to the point where they demote him, and I become GM Supreme.
That's fucking awesome. All right, let's get out of here. Thanks, Yuly. Thanks, chat. You guys enjoy Bubba's podcast too. He's doing the Steelers Giants podcast in like 2 hours at 10 p.m. Should be a good time. Yuly, thanks, mate, for coming on.
Yep,
and I'll see you later. I'll see you guys later.
Hey, Rod.
Put the light. Left the light on. See you later. Bye.